Well, hello everyone. I hope you're doing well. Oh my, it's been a week. It's been a week. Yeah, it's been interesting to say the least. So we're here, we're live, everything's good. This is who we've got in the chat. We've got Akira. Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing well. We've got Barefoot on Bricks. Paul, I hope you're doing well, my friend. We've got Dream and Visions. Hello, Dream and Visions. I hope you're doing well, my friend. We've got Ron. We've got Only When I Breathe. Good evening to yourself as well. And we've got a few people here today. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. We have got a full-on docket for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a week. Now, I know you guys are obviously this is off the back of everything we saw at SDCC and ACGHK. Those hot toys are bringing the heat. Seriously, like I know I'm very quick to criticize hot toys, but there's nothing at all that I can't say is well, there's one thing I can say isn't an absolute banger, but for the most part, absolute bangers across the board from Hot Toys. That's all I'm going to say before we get into it. It is it's good. Akira, that's very astute of you to notice. I have got a fan over here. I've got a fan underneath my legs here. I've had the window open all day. I've got my what I call my hillbilly air conditioning, which is tinfoil on the windows, which actually, for those of you naysayers out there, it does work. It does very much work. So, yeah, do it. If it's hot, even in an old Victorian house like mine, it does actually, I think, 10, 15, maybe 20 degrees difference with a hillbilly aircon. News distraction looking sharp. Thank you so much. It's basically an attempt to hide my big ass forehead. That's the idea there. That is the idea. But yeah, guys, we have got some serious things to get into. Did I say hello to you, Clinton Martin? If I didn't, I apologize. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Right. So, first thing today. First thing. Now, there's something different behind me. There's something different behind me. I'm not going to give it away just yet. But I received something in the post this week that I ordered. You will know those. The hot toy was given away to that young man on the channel, and Lee very kindly at the time created a diorama for it as well, the Miles Morales. And I must confess, obviously, until Lee was on the show, I didn't really know about his work at all. But having seen it, I had to have one for myself. So quickly after we did that, I immediately put in an order. So it came in this week, and honestly, it is off the charts cool. It's off the charts cool. New haircut, new channel. Good on you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Uncarded. It's very kind of you. So I got this diorama in this week. Can I go down here? Yeah, that's better. And honestly, Lee, Creative Dios, you can find him on Instagram. Incredible, absolutely incredible work that he's doing. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Now, it really does, Paul. It really does. Now, this got me thinking. This really got me thinking, because the way I collect now, let's quickly show you the collection, not that you haven't seen it 1,000 times. And obviously, it's looking a little bit sparse in areas. Not every gap is filled. And it's the same over here. Over here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 empty spaces, and in 2 of these units that are behind me as well. There's 2 in the corner here. And it did make me think, because a lot of the time I see so many collectors judging the way that other people collect. And I think that's part of the course, right? Sharing stuff on social media and sharing your collection and your opinion and the way that you collect is always going to maybe go against someone else's collecting compass, if you will, right? So this is mine, effectively. And yeah, like you say, Uncarded, they're the next level of collecting. I would agree. I would agree 100%. Eagle, I'm good, my friend. I'm good. Thank you so much. You used to get on for the 2019 joke of the opening and see where he's in the alley. I'm way ahead of you. I just need to save up some pennies. So this got me thinking about how we all collect, because I think there's something to be said among the community where we always sort of disagree on how the other one does something. You know, you understand what I mean, right? So like, I collect very sparingly now, very sparingly. And this is sort of a result of that. And there's certain bits in here that are actually going to move, like the Lord of the Rings stuff, the Harry Potter stuff. I'm trying to see what else is here. Probably the MJs, probably the Jokers maybe, are all going to go into module cases that are going to go on this wall over here. So this display behind me at some point will look rather I mean, I'll be streaming. A lot of my collection will be over here. I'd be like, who's this bum ass? Like, he's not even got any figures. Why is he streaming to me, telling me what to do? So that'll certainly be interesting when that happens. So yeah, it just got me thinking, because I think I've seen collections in the past myself, and I thought, oh, looks a bit untidy, doesn't it? You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, maybe army build. And I've never personally understood that. Not that I'm judging it. You know, there may be a time in the past where I did judge it because I thought it was pointless. But I guess everyone, like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is everyone collects differently. I think we should remember that. Just because I collect very sparingly and like to have 1 to 2 per square, and I want to, with this idea here, I want all of these squares to be like a small universe, if that makes any sense. Do you understand what I mean? It's like you're capturing a moment in every little square here, and that's sort of where I want my collection to go. And I think that is the style of collecting that makes me happy. And I'd be interested to hear what style of collecting you guys feel that you do and why that makes you happy. Because I think when I had, again, I've told this story 1,000 times now, behind me used to be a huge, well, it is a huge wall still, but huge shelves. And there was top to bottom, left to right, just one long shelf, 5 of them, right, all across this wall, which is about 2.4 meters. For the American guys, you'll have to convert that yourself. I don't work in your same system. But there was so many figures. I think it was 140 at one point. And I didn't know until I got there that style of collecting where you just, there were so many pre-orders. There were so many things coming through from eBay. And it made me absolutely miserable. I cannot stress to you enough that having that amount of figures just broke my mind. And it just wasn't an enjoyable experience. So I found that collecting sparingly, although it is sometimes painful waiting for that next unboxing and then next, let's be honest, dopamine rush, it's really hard waiting for that all the time. It is it's quite nice to have to wait for that, and it makes it all the sweeter because of it, right? I might get 2 Kane figures. Wow, that's a big old figure. So that's a lot of space you're going to need on that one. Yeah, Alex, I think this is the thing, right? There's something that I did in the past, that I would buy all these figures and then not really consider how I was going to display them. So you end up with like a mishmash and just a mess of collection. I don't really know. Once you get past a certain point in collecting, like, does it become hoarding? You know, it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to say, because what works for one person doesn't work for another. So it's just one of those things. I think we could go in this roundabout, like, circle forever and ever. It's just lies. Sorry, Jack, I will try and remember that, dude. I will try and remember that. That's a good comment. That's a good comment. I appreciate you. But we've got a few. Uncarded says, instead of chasing the next pre-order, there's a lot of enjoyment and value to be gained by customizing, curating your existing collection. 100%. Just changing up your displays, reposing stuff. I think a lot of the time I get a lot of joy just from reposing. It's yeah, it's quite satisfying, because, and that's what I like about 1/6. and I don't like about like quarter scale and statues. Like quarter scale just take up too much room, so they don't fit nicely into these little display cases, right? But statues, you get them, and some of them look awesome. They do look amazing. Don't get me wrong, but you can never really repose them. Sometimes you get some swap out parts, but there's almost infinite possibilities on what you can do and how you can pose everything in this picture up here, right? So I find that quite exciting. I find that quite exciting. I still have many in the box. Defo need more room. Yeah, you've got a load in the box as well. That's never a good time, because it's just not being able to display stuff is never nice. I get that about the hoarding, but I'm slowly getting module cases. I don't want to buy these figures once they've already come out and they're really yeah, that's true. I mean, if you've got certain things like InArt pre-orders, maybe so like some of their figures can go a bit silly on the aftermarket initially anyway, but a lot of the stuff, unlike I want to say Pennywise, has started to come down now, but like the MJ, the Smooth Criminal, that's gone up to like 500-600, in some cases a little bit. A few weeks ago maybe it was like £700 it was selling for on eBay, which is insane. I want the quarter scale Joker. That's going to be a big boy. The new Hulk should class as quarter scale. He's so big. Yeah, that's going to be a monster. Hello, Natalie. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I guess that was my thought on that, and it was just interesting to, you know, think about how other people collect, and not. I don't want to say the word judge, because that's not quite right, but just judge their way of collecting. I guess that's the only way you can really put it. But as long as the way you collect and your style of collecting makes you happy, and it's not detrimental to you in any way, shape, or form, then I think you keep cracking on. It's hello, mate. Still, that picture disturbs me every time. Do you think bases should have more features, elaborate lighting or background screens? But yeah, I mean, there is a call for that. Yeah, definitely. I can't see why not. Like, that would make total sense. Like, you've got the pixel poses stuff. I'm not going to do the One Piece thing today, but you've got the pixel poses, the Zorro, and they're primarily a statue company, and they're doing some really nice bases with their 1/6 stuff. There was I can't remember the character that was now, but it was a really elaborate, like dragons and all this sort of stuff, and the Zorro base is really nice and lights up, and yeah, that's going to be some cool stuff. But I think a lot of the time there's so few people like myself maybe that I don't use bases personally, so it's difficult, isn't it? I guess if you want to do it like they have with pixel poses, you can get the standard set of things, and then you can get the deluxe, but the deluxe is much more expensive with that base. But yeah, it's difficult. You can't please everyone all the time, and then if you create a very expensive SKU and no one buys it, it's a bit of a no-no. I got Daryl Dixon and Gimli on pre-order, so looking forward to getting them, dude. It's got some sick pre-orders right there. They are. I've never been a fan of those. Oh, sorry, what did I miss? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I completely missed this. I apologize. That's why my 1/6 collection is strictly sci-fi and classic iconic film characters, no Marvel and DC, or non-Marvel and DC. Dude, you've got to have some DC at least. Maybe a little bit of Marvel. I've only got one Marvel, but you need one of them at least. Ron says, I'm sticking with just DC and Marvel. Was going to try some. Yeah, Star Wars is a rabbit hole, dude. Like, it's so difficult to get into the Star Wars stuff because there's a little bit of back buying, but they're doing so many 2.0s now that maybe you don't need to back buy anymore. But those Doomsday announcements are going to get a lot of people in trouble, I think. I buy the figure that catches my eye, and eventually a theme evolves that I organize into. That's really cool. That's a really cool way of doing it. Akira, this is the last one I'll read before I get into the next subject. I've been making and 3D printing my own J&D style bases. Very cool. A while ago to get them consistent with all my figures. That's actually pretty cool. And it's very creative. So that's the best way to do it. And I think, Akira, you did the Witch King set as well, didn't you? If I remember correctly. Now, let's get on to some of these hot toys. Like the Doomsday stuff that we saw last Sunday is just insanity. It's just insanity. Like, I was blown away, and it's rare for me to be blown away by hot toys. Let me find my tabs. Here we go. So first up, now this one I think is probably the best. I think it's because I'm a huge fan of the actor. But it's, oh, thank you for breaking StreamYard. You going to work? No. There we go. So Magneto. Now this thing is just what a beard grows fast. I swear it was just a shadow last week. Yeah, you know, it's SpongeBob. It's like grimaces and it just comes out. That's what I did before the show. But thank you. A lot of people have commented on my beard this week. But this Magneto, I mean, come on. Like, this is just a dude, Jack, right? Jack, did I get that right? I'm pretty sure I did. This is next level stuff. This is next level stuff. I even think that this figure could be a little bit less sharp in the facial details, which is a great thing for us because we usually see a little bit of softening in these sculpts before they release. So if that were to be the case, I think it would bring it right in line with the correct level of detail. I think it's maybe got a little touch too much right now, but they do the older gentleman sculpts really, really well. They always have. I mean, if we look at like Tarkin and Count Dooku, figures like that, they've always absolutely smashed them out of the park. And this Magneto is absolutely no exception. This is, how sweaty do I look that often? How sweaty do I actually look? Because everyone's noticing that I'm not sweaty today. Maybe it's because you can't see my forehead. Maybe that's what it is. But no, I have got a fan down here. I've got a fan over here. I've got the window open. We're all good. It's still a little bit hot, but I'm good. He does. He really does. I know. I remember you saying this, Paul. Yeah, it is just phenomenal. It is a phenomenal figure, and the display possibilities I've only pulled up here. You can get the standard version, but the bases are some of the most exciting bases I think we've seen from Hot Toys in a while. This one, you're not going to be standing on it, I don't think. I think the idea is that you have him in a flight pose such as this, but it looks phenomenal. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first Magneto that Hot Toys have made. I could be mistaken on that one. I can't remember if there is one. It's going to be old. But this, the sculpt, the tailoring, I mean, look at that sculpt. Like, that is just absurd. It's absurd. Mitchell says I might get Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart. Got to support my fellow Brits. Thank you, dude. You too. You too. Oh, evening. I'll have a good night. I appreciate you. Rare for me to say the sculpt looks amazing. Yeah, this one really does. And as much as I hate to say it, this is, I think, better than the InArt Gandalf sculpt. And that pains me. It hurts my heart to say it. But I think it's just the case that, I mean, that sculpt is still incredible. Don't get me wrong, right? But I think it is just, this is newer. This is newer. It's a little sharper. And it's just a sign of the times. It looks phenomenal. It looks phenomenal. Great figure, great actor. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Hello. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Good evening, David. Hope everything is good. Everything is getting there. Magneto and Professor X are very tempting. Yeah. Not for me. Not for me. But yeah, they do look incredible. Someone said something here. Where was it? Where was it? What is this? David doesn't sweat, he glistens. That's very kind of you. It doesn't smell like glistening, but I appreciate you. I very much appreciate you. Yeah, this is it. That sculpt will always go down as one of the greatest of all time on in 1/6. I think if you're getting all of them, get on or two with the deluxe base and the standard for the rest. Yeah, that's not a bad shout actually, Clinton. Those bases are huge. Maybe Cyclops base since the deluxe that comes with the jacket. Yeah, I think that's a really sensible shout actually, because these bases are going to be huge and they're going to take up a lot of space in your display. That being said, if you are going all in on Doomsday and you want all of them, you could get all the bases. You're going to need you're going to need a big ass module case to be putting all these in. But I mean, come on. Oh, hello. What was that all about? It's just, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. I am just blown away by these drops. I really am. Like I've not been this impressed. Is this Hot Toys going all in on Doomsday, or is this Hot Toys waking up? Because it could be either. I'm going to probably lean more to the fact that Doomsday is incredibly important for Marvel at this point in time, and it needs to be an absolute banger, which I'm hoping it will. If it's not, that's probably going to be devastating for a lot of Marvel fans. But yeah, this thing, this is an incredible offering. It really is. I mean, there you go. There we go. There's the money shot right there. I'm not sure. I'm not a massive fan of the long hair, but obviously that's not Hot Toys. That's just how they have him in the film now. Yeah, that's Ian McKellen. That is 100,000% Ian McKellen. It is. Yeah, there's no way getting around it. He does look incredible. And I really like these bases. I can't say I'm the most excited ever for Doomsday, but I'm interested to see. I've always liked Sentinels and that whole storyline for X-Men. So I'm really interested to see how that is being worked into Doomsday, because obviously with all of these figures, as you'll see in a minute, all of them have Sentinel bases for the deluxe, and I'm interested to see how that part of the storyline is going to, you know, work out. It looks to be shaping up absolutely incredible, but I think a lot of people are going to be getting this one. The one thing that I did find quite odd is that the whole ring thing, like, I think it's the same price, if I remember correctly, on Sideshow and on Sideshow, yeah. The one with the ring and the one without the ring. So you got the deluxe and the deluxe special edition. They're both the same price. So I mean, realistically, if it's available, just grab the one with the ring. But what are you actually going to do with it? Do you know what I mean? It's not like they're going to send out a sheet, a Google Doc for you and say, what size ring do you need, sir or madam? It's just going to be one size. It could be tiny and pretty useless. So I guess a lot of collectors like little knickknacks like that. I think maybe a coin was a better shout than a ring, like, because who's this really going to fit? Like, it might fit on a lot of our pinkies, us being Westerners, of course. So I don't know. I don't really know. It's a bit of a weird offering, but it's free stuff, right? If you order from Sideshow, it's the same price, free stuff. Grab the free stuff while you can. I think is probably the message there. But yeah, that just looks phenomenal. It looks absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to see some of these in hand. I can't wait to see these in hand. I don't have any space for anything Marvel, really. Yeah, I'm not going to be the one ring to rule them all. Yeah, well, this is it. Exactly that. I think if they all went all in on this Magneto, they would have given him unhelmeted sculpt as well, or removable helmet and hair. Yeah, I did wonder that when I saw it for the first time. It does seem a bit odd that you haven't got an unhelmeted version, but I think it makes sense because I think they're sort of shying away from. No, they're not shying away from the longer haired sculpted stuff. It's a way for it to be almost artisan, but not carry the artisan price tag. Although it's close, if you're getting the deluxe, it's very close. It's very close. But no, I don't think you get a swap out hairpiece. I don't think you do. I don't think you get any of that, which is a shame. Yeah, I figure it out. I think you probably hit the nail on the head there. I was just thinking that there will be another one down the line, and this is just the initial run of what they're doing for Doomsday. I passed on everything. I only PO the Joker quarter scale. Okay, that's an interesting pickup. Everything they show in the past couple of weeks. It's so interesting with the quarter scale. I think quarter scale collectors don't really eat that well, do they? I think we can agree on that. I think a lot of the time, and they eat pretty poorly, in fact. So it's interesting to see them still producing quarter scale figures. But then that being said, there is a figure for that one to go. You've obviously got the Dark Knight stuff, right? The quarter scale Dark Knight. So he could go with that, that's going to be a fantastic display. All they need to do now really is release a quarter scale Chewie to go with that Han Solo that's coming out. Yeah. Speaking of new trim, yes, I have had a haircut. I'm trying to hide my big forehead. But yeah, guys, that one is fantastic. Next up on the Doomsday hype train, we have got another Doomsday figure. Now, this one leads us in lovely to our topic after that, in fact, as well. And this one, this is a nostalgic one for probably a lot of us. If you're around my age, around your 30s, this is the Cyclops that you grew up with, more than likely. And this one looks great. I love this. I love the costume. I can't remember now. It's been a while since I watched any of the original X-Men films. But I can't remember how close this is to it. It's probably not close at all. No, actually, no, I'm thinking now it's like the grey with the silver X, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's nothing close to what it was in the original. But this looks amazing. I love all these effects. They're really going all out with this line, and I love to see it from Hot Toys. And this is what the frustration is for me a lot of the time, is that they tend to rest on their laurels. So it's really, really nice that they're not doing it for Doomsday. Like, this line of figures is going to be absolutely incredible, unless, of course, there's a hella load of downgrades on finals, which I don't think there will be. I don't think there will be. But I love all of these effects. These effects are fantastic. I think if this was 6 months ago, we probably would have got one effect. It maybe would have lit up and that would have been it. But they were going all out here. This base specifically, I don't think I've ever seen a base that has flight poles that holds part of the base together. I don't know if you guys could correct me in the comments, but I think that's the first time I've ever seen that, which is, it's an interesting base. It's very, very cool. I can't say I'm much of a fan of this effect, but just you can just imagine, especially with the Magneto that we've just seen, and obviously we've got a couple more figures to go through, the display possibilities for these guys. Especially, I know Clinton said if you just get a couple of the Sentinel bases, you're probably good, and he's probably correct. But if you got all of them, that would be an incredible display. That would be a battle scene to be reckoned with. I think you'd need probably a couple of DF-120 module cases, a good 2.4 meters of display space to get all this in. And I do hope that Doomsday is great enough for people to consider even doing that. So that would be really cool. Now, this jacket, this is interesting. So it was on Sideshow. They mentioned that this jacket was microfiber leather. Put a pin in that one. We'll discuss that in a minute. But the jacket looks lovely, and this jacket is inspired by comic. I'll take your word for that. I'm not a massive comic buff, so I wouldn't know either way. But yeah, there's no bad way to display this. I think the sculpt for me, yeah, thank you for the name. I was about to forget that. James Marsden. I think the likeness is nearly there for me. I think it's a good 90%, 9 out of 10 likeness. I think the only thing for me is the open mouth expression. I think Hot Toys always tend to lose something when they try and do an open mouth expression. I don't know what it is, but I'm not completely sold on it. It's like, what is that expression? Do you know what I mean? What is that expression? It's like who? Oh, it's like that. What? I don't understand. He's not angry. He's not a straight face. What? I don't know what he is. Yeah, that's a good point. I think it will potentially be similar-ish to the, I don't know if you've got this figure, the Armored Batman, the 2.0. There's a tiny little plug, and they're horrible to work with. And you plug it into like inside the sculpt to like the base on the flat part of the sculpt. And hopefully it works the same way, because that's a pretty decent system. If not, the connector's a little bit shoddy. But yeah, I love the effect pieces for the visor, the turning one. Yeah, the turning one is fantastic. It's a really good idea. It's a shame they can't get their swinging saber effects correct, but that one does look great. I'd like to have seen a longer optic blast plus its use. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I think I agree with you. The problem is with the longer blasts is the LEDs aren't powerful enough to, carry that far for the most part. So yeah, that's what a lot of people say. He's got a red snake on his face. But yeah, I think that the LEDs won't carry that far. And yeah, I think it might look a little bit tapped. But then if you could light it up in your display a bit better, then maybe someone could print one. There's a lot of very talented artists out there that can print in sort of clear resin in red. And that would look pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do. It's kind of a bitch point. Okay. He's very straight-laced, isn't he? I think that's fair to say. He's a very straight-laced chap. But yeah, once again, yeah, I'm not a fan of this like weird little doohickey. I'm not a fan of that one. I'm assuming they all slot in, which is a pretty good system. I love this one. I love this effect. And this whole base just works. It just works. Yeah, I have. Yeah, look, this is the full array of display you got. I guess this one will make more sense when the film actually comes out. Right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense because it's supposed to blast forward. Yeah, this is amazing. I love that. I love the base as well. I really adore that base. Again, you can get the ring. Those are your two options. I think they're $390 on Sideshow, and yeah, you can get the ring or you cannot get the ring. I think while the ring is available, you might as well just grab the chance, right, and just grab it, because why the hell not? It's worth a go, just to get a free thing. Guys, that honestly, I'm blown away by this Doomsday line. I really am blown away. Now, so this is, there we go. Let's give you one of those. First one of the stream. He looks like he's letting out a silent but deadly one. Maybe he is. And something I didn't tell you guys, funnily enough, this week I've not been in much of a mood for 1 sec. But I have got this guy in, which I'm very excited about. It's not the Artisan, because second one for the night. It's not the Artisan, it's the Sculpted. But he does look incredible. But I've not really done much with him yet. I'm thinking I'm going to start doing some proper unboxings. For the longest time, I've had a Sony A6700 mirrorless camera just sitting around. So I've got all the gear and no idea. So I'm going to start doing some more unboxings. I'm still going to sit on the floor for them, true to form, and yeah, get some more content out of there, which would be good. So don't worry, the InArt, I'll still do on a live stream. Yeah, that's completely fair. The only thing for me is that the ballerina version is only Artisan, and we're going to talk about Artisan today actually, but I just don't have faith in that line anymore. A lot of people have been stung by the hair, and obviously if you're with Sideshow, you've got a comeback. You can get a replacement head, or a lot of us use resellers in Europe, so you can get stung, and a lot of the resellers will help you, of course, but yeah, I don't want to get stuck with a bad Artisan. Oh, really? That's interesting. Basically, I need to figure out how it functions. That's the long and short of it. I need to figure out how it works properly. Natalie, it's very kind of you to say. Thank you so much. So next up, I'm going to leave this topic here. And this applies to the next figure as well, because Gambit also has a microfiber leather jacket. There is 9 months. Jesus Christ. He will, though. That's very fair point. If you've got getting that pair, one, I'm hoping they've updated that sculpt. Secondly, that's going to be a lovely display right there. 100%. Yeah, definitely. I completely get where you're coming from. So what is microfiber leather? Because I know there's a lot of confusion around this, and a lot of people see it and they don't really understand what it means. I did do this on a stream a while back. Unfortunately, that stream's no longer with us. So I'm going to do it again, and we're going to explain. We're going to go through what microfiber leather is, because I've done a bit of research on this. I've got some notes. I'm not perfect. I'm not like an encyclopedia of imitation leathers, but I have done my best to call out all of the good parts about it. So I've got this here. I don't really want that bit at the bottom is irrelevant anyway. Let me quickly get rid of this banner so you can just see for a split second. And ignore the collector tip. This is AI slop for the most part. But you can see basically PU leather on the far left there at the bottom is normal leather that we have come to know and hate. So just ignore that one on the far left. It's not worth the fabric it's printed on. That's what I was getting at. Yeah. The only microfiber leather I'm familiar with are car washing chamois. Yeah, so it's used, I found out earlier, in the automotive industry as well, when they're not using actual leather. I don't know if they use it for seats. I didn't really dig into it that deep. I can't say I'm that interested in cars. So the good news is this is very good news for collectors. It's very good news for collectors because over the last, say, 10, but maybe even more, longer than that, years, a lot of these companies have been using pleather. We've come to know it as pleather. It's PU leather. And it is cheap. The stuff is nasty. It doesn't work well in the 1/6 setting because by their nature, we repose these things. We, maybe change the clothing on them. Some of us live in more humid climates, which pleather hates. I recall I went on holiday and Katie had this pleather bag. She had it for years and it was fine all those years. Humid weather in Italy, it was destroyed within a couple of days. The handle at least just fell apart. So the stuff just isn't up to much. But the good news is that microfiber leather is some of the best material on the market, with the exception of full grain, all singing, all dancing, actual leather. So, but the thing is, I don't know why Hot Toys aren't screaming and shouting about this really, because it's something to be screamed and shouted about because we've had such a bad time, some of us anyway, with pleather over the years. I personally refuse to buy anything with pleather on it, even though I'm in the UK and the humidity and that sort of thing doesn't really ever affect me. I just don't want it on there. I just don't want the stuff. So microfiber leather, unlike pleather, isn't just plastic with a leather pattern. It's made from an ultra fine microfiber base, and we mean like thousands to thousands. I can't think of the word now. Fibers, thousands and thousands of fibers. A PU coating is applied to that microfiber, much like pleather as well, and that mimics the leather grain and the texture in the film. But it's the microfiber backing that gives everything that strength, that strength. Whereas normal pleather would have like woven polyester, like really cheap, nasty woven polyester. So it's really the microfiber lining or the base for this new pleather. It's quite hard to explain. That gives it all this rigidity and the long. I can't think of words. Let me think of words. One of those to distract you. Gives it strength. Strength is the word I was looking for. So microfiber leather is much more resistant to cracking, peeling, stretching, and tearing and wearing around joints. That's the good news. Now, if you were to say a simple analogy for normal pleather versus this microfiber stuff, normal pleather, say if you painted a piece of cardboard, that's not a great base to paint anything on. And then you started bending it, enough bending, and that paint would start to crack. With microfiber leather, it'd be like painting some rubber, and you could flex that rubber and the paint would flex with it. Eventually, the outcome would be that the paint would crack on both, but the rubber would be a lot more hard wearing. That's sort of the best analogy for this microfiber leather. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it 10 times better than normal pleather? Yes, it is 1000% an upgrade to what we've seen in the last 10 years. And I think that's not being shouted about enough, because this stuff is going to change the game for a lot of people. Can it still fail? That is, ultimately all of our question, right? It can. It very much can fail, but nothing with like a polyurethane surface applied to it is going to last forever. That's asking way too much. Real leather, if good quality, will last forever. And ultimately, it would be lovely if every single figure that we received had real leather on it, but that's just not on the cards, I don't think. So this is, long and short of it, this is the upgrade that you've been looking for. This is going to be a fantastic upgrade for anyone. Couldn't think of the word fiber when talking about microfiber. Yeah, basically. Yeah, and I think new distraction, this is the thing, right? And there are going to be occasions in the future, I'm sure, where this microfiber leather starts to degrade. I'm sure there's an eventuality, right, where my J&D Jokers are probably going to rot and disappear into oblivion. But all we can ask are that Hot Toys, J&D, InArt, all of these companies use the best materials they have available to them now. Nothing lasts forever. You know, a good old leather jacket will last forever. You know, if they made all this stuff out of real high quality, full grain leather, it would probably last forever. Don't get me wrong, but it's very expensive. And a lot of the time, there are going to be collectors like maybe us in here that care about that and care about that longevity. And there's going to be people that are driven away by the price of a nice full grain leather jacket on a figure. Now, neither of those people are, you know, correct in their own sense, but a lovely outcome would be that Hot Toys, InArt, etc., would offer, you know, a standard with cheaper materials and then a deluxe with more expensive materials like those full grain leathers. But that's a lot of headache for those companies, right? So I don't think that's ever going to happen. Initial, I don't think these 1/6 scale toys were ever intended, to have longevity, but over time they've evolved into premium collectibles, 100%, and now the expectation is that they last forever. And again, like I just said, you can't expect things to last forever. That's simply not going to happen, but they will last a long time. Obviously, we can see here the microfiber leather is expected, and the automotive stuff, which I can't come to you guys and say, the stuff Hot Toys are using is exactly the same stuff as the automotive industry is using. But some of the automotive industry posts are quoting that this leather will last 10 to 20 years. And that's, you know, cars, there's a lot of high wear areas within vehicles, right? So I wouldn't like to say with any degree of certainty that if you buy this, it's going to last you 20 years. I mean, I'll probably be long gone by then, right? But, you know, you might come and find me. But what I will say is, this is an all-round cost to quality ratio, the best outcome we could have asked for. It's lovely when Hot Toys or InArt, whoever it may be, come along with like the T800s, like Hot Toys did recently, absolute cracking figures, and they do a full leather. It looks phenomenal. The grain sometimes looks a little bit iffy in places when it doesn't match, or it's too large, because obviously it's full scale leather. No such thing as 1/6 scale leather. But the quality is always there, right? So it's always nice to know that you're getting decent materials that you're not scared to touch. I think this is it. I think that's the takeaway from this should be, your microfiber leather, feel free to pose it. Eventually it's going to start to degrade, but then everything is in life, especially us as humans. Just have fun with them. You haven't got to worry anymore that they're using that shit on the left-hand side that just flakes when you look at it. That's the takeaway here. Hot Toys, you should really, really be shouting about this, because people give you shit left, right, and center. This is an upgrade to be excited about, 100%. And I think we'll give them a little clap, because I rag on Hot Toys a lot. So credit where credit is due. They're trying to get rid of the pleather issue. Round of applause for Hot Toys, everyone, I think. I think they already use it, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they should be. Sounds like artisan pleather. Companies should be boycotted, if they use pleather in this day and age. It's nice and cheap. That's the problem. It's nice and cheap. I'm just a COVID collector, so I haven't been in the game. I think a lot of people are COVID collectors, dude, I think, to be fair. So I haven't been in the game that long. All my pleather goods are still in good shape. I live in central Cali, so it's pretty dry. It's interesting. It's interesting. I think a lot of people swear by that aerospace 303 stuff, like get a little cloth, rub it in. So hopefully that will last you a long time if you apply some of that. Maybe nothing lasts forever except for your love for InArt. True. Apparently Hot Toys secretly been using microfiber leather on figures. Okay, that's it. I know there's been a few. I think there was a figure not too long ago that used it. It wasn't the Terminator, because that was full leather, wasn't it? Maybe they've just been sneaking it in and we just didn't know. Why not develop materials that last, that look like leather? I mean, that's the whole idea of the microfiber leather, dude. Yeah, but I agree. But then the problem is making it look like leather. They've got to make it look like leather with a nice grain to it that doesn't, because if you had like a normal size leather grain on a 1/6 figure, it looks a bit weird. Yeah. No. So this is the problem, dude, is that a lot of the time the terminologies can get mixed up. So yes, of course, pleather is vegan leather, but anything that isn't real leather is vegan leather. So I guess, yeah, microfiber would also be vegan leather. Yeah. So it's DX13 is pleather, not leather. Yes, but the newer ones like the MMS 795 and the DX46. I shouldn't know that. I need to get out more. Yeah, and I think, Akira, this is a very good point, and this is a point that I raise quite often. There's going to be people out there that simply don't want anything to do with leather. Right? There's been a lot of companies. Look at Apple; they got rid of their leather cases entirely in favor of like a microfiber thing that wasn't pleather. It was just like a weird fine woven. That's what I'm looking for. So a lot of companies are moving away from it. Yeah, they don't make things to last anymore. They don't. I know, not leather, but it's a different kind of pleather. Yeah, it's a much more stable kind of pleather. Yeah, that's it. Just Google microfiber leather, and the consensus is that it's pretty durable. Exactly. Vegan leather. Vegan leather. Sorry, is just an umbrella term for anything that's not animal based. Exactly that. And it's good. It's good. Also, Hot Toys is a business, so making a product that lasts forever discourages repeat buying. Planned obsolescence is a real thing. I was talking to a guy at work about this the other day, actually, about the light bulb. You know, light bulbs back in the day when they were first making them lasted forever. And they were like, well, fuck this noise. We want them to break. So they buy new light bulbs, right? So that's where planned obsolescence became a thing. Thank you to whoever came up with that. Can't remember their name, but we should definitely not revere them. Put it that way. But yeah, it's... oh, thank you, Clinton. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Sorry, I meant rubber or plastic type sculpture jacket. Yeah, so yeah, it's yeah, I understand what you mean. So speaking of pleather, leather, vegan jackets, whatever you want to call them, well, our next figure. This one, I'm not so sure. Can I go down here? Guys, could you tell me, do you prefer... Oh, I can't... I'm just here on my own now. Oh, my goodness. Do you prefer the screen like this or like this? Let me know what you think. 1 or 2. 1 is me over the other side and 2 is me here. Let me know what you guys prefer and I'll switch it back. So this one, I love the costume. I think the one thing I will say about this is that it's not quite there. It's not quite there. It's a shame as well that this... Oh, there's a lot of people saying 1. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. There we go. Because it's... I mean, the picture's bigger now, isn't it? Instead of my ugly mug. So it's a shame. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I agree with that. It's a shame that this isn't quite the same look as it was in Deadpool and Wolverine, because I know a lot of you really wanted that representation of your Deadpool and Wolverine collection. I mean, you can still use this one for that, but it's not quite the same costume. It looks a little bit different to my eyes. Yeah, Clinton, I would agree. The ears look a little wide. The hair, obviously, we haven't seen him in Doomsday yet, so I can't speak to that. I don't know whether the hair is too tall. It's certainly very different, because in Deadpool and Wolverine, it was more like I want to say cowl, like it was just like over to one side, wasn't it? So it is very different. The figure itself looks great. It looks great. And my concern is, yes, I remember Jack. Am I remembering this correctly? My concern is a lot of people have seen the Magneto. We've seen the Cyclops. And I'd say the Magneto is an 11 out of 10. The Cyclops is probably a 9 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10. That weird expression I don't quite like. Yeah, sorry, I will keep forgetting, but I'm trying to remember everyone's names that's here regularly. It's quite hard. But this one, the sculpt just isn't quite there, and it's infuriating. Again, we've got a microfiber leather jacket, or a microfiber pleather, I think sounds better. They've changed the design of the face area here, which I actually prefer this. I think the old one looked a bit strange, like came in like that and then straight that. It was a weird design, the other one. Oh, was it straight and then like that? Like made his cheeks look really puffy. It didn't look good at all. But this one looks really nice. The only thing I would say about this is there's certain angles where I see Channing Tatum immediately. I always see him. However, it's not as strong as I'd like it to be. Like I said, Magneto, 11 out of 10. The Cyclops is an 8, 9 out of 10. This one is going to be about a 6 or a 7. Oh, God. Any kids around here? Whoa. 6, 7. But, yeah. So it's microfiber pleather. Yes, so it's not a leather jacket. To my knowledge, I could be wrong. I didn't check Sideshow for this one. But at the very worst, this is the great thing, though, New Distraction, is that the worst case scenario now is that it's microfiber leather, and that's good stuff. We know it's good stuff. You know, it's been proven in the automotive industry as well. So let's hope. And you know, I kind of see now with this microfiber leather stuff, going back to that quickly, because it's something that I'm excited about because I hate leather, is that's the worst case scenario now, is that you get microfiber and it's just a nice little upgrade if you get real leather. That's what I love about that. You're no longer getting some shit. You're getting something that's decent and, you know, will actually last you more than 10 minutes, which is really nice. I like the rest of it. The accessories are pretty cool. Just nothing lights up for him. Just the base. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The problem is with this is that, yeah, I think you're right. The expression is a bit blank on this one, but this one is it's going to be quite hard to light these sort of effects, isn't it? The effects, I think, look fantastic. These look really nice, and I don't know how they're doing this. Like all the cards, just like balanced on the fingers, like just looks incredible. It looks really, really nice. Obviously, there's a lot of things here that we're not going to know what the deal is until we actually see the film. But like a pose like this is like, to me, a little bit magical. I'm wondering if these cards are actually part of the sculpt of the hands. I'd be interested to see how they're on there, and because it's just like balancing and floating, aren't they? It's quite magical. I like that. I mean, that's probably just a bit of Photoshop there, but I like that I don't understand how that's working. You know, like how are those cards there? Like, it's a little bit of a mystery, and I like that. It makes it more exciting. But yeah, this looks awesome. This is, you know, those other two figures, this one, the Sentinel bases, all of yeah, it's just going to look incredible. If you're in on this Doomsday line, you're going to have a sick display. You really are. But yeah, it's interesting. Someone just said, where was it? Nose isn't right. Yeah, I sort of see it. It's one of those that I can't quite put my finger on what isn't right about the sculpt. Like I see him in the eyes. Like his eyes are definitely there. The mouth, I think maybe the jaw's a bit too square. Yeah, that's actually a very fair point. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, another faceplate would be nice. Yeah, got anyone in the chat? Yeah, the shape of the headgear is different. Yeah, from Deadpool more, which is a shame because I know a lot of people wanted to add. I mean, you could still add this to your display, right, as part of the Resistance. That would still work. It's not too egregiously different that everyone will go, oh no. Because if you showed me this and didn't have a screenshot of the old version next to it, I wouldn't have been able to even tell you that this looked any different from Deadpool Wolverine. I don't remember. The cards are attached. Dude, you ruined the magic. How dare you? Started telling me Santa's not real next. Oh, hello. Yeah, these just look. See, I see it more there. It's one of those sculpts where depends on the angle and the lighting. It's a shame though, because those other two sculpts, regardless of the angle, 100% there. Yeah, this is the problem, isn't it? You see it in the eyes until it releases, and then there might be a little bit of bug eye going on. It's a shame, but it could happen. It could happen. But again, I think this is the nicest base out of all four figures that have been announced at the moment. Like, this is the nice one. It's so colourful. Yeah, this is the thing, dude. It's like if they're like a millimeter off, they're just, yeah. There's just there's a fine art, And I really, really, really do not envy the head sculptors of these things, because we guys, we nitpick the hell out of them. And I mean, it's still bloody impressive. I mean, it's definitely Channing Tatum, but yeah, I just don't know. There's something off about the sculpt. Maybe it's one of those, like, we say it all the time, and it does become a thing sometimes, where some of these sculpts just don't photograph that well. Maybe this is one of those. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But there we go. Leather-like microfiber material. So a lot more longevity in this coat. And it's a nice bloody coat as well. It looks really nice, this look. That gives me hope for another figure that I really want from this line. Obviously, again, you got the two options. Well, you've got the standards as well. You can get the deluxe or the deluxe with the ring. But yeah, Jack Jones, 100%. He looks fantastic. He really does. Definitely looks great. Definitely one to pick up if you're doing the Doomsday line. I'm not doing any of the Doomsday stuff because I don't need another line, really. Swappable faceplates would have been perfect for that figure. Yep, or swappable eyes, since they change when he powers up. That's a really good point. Maybe that doesn't happen to this iteration of Gambit. I don't know. But that being said, there's a lot of really creative, talented people that will do stuff like that when it comes out. And these eyes, I mean, it's not too egregiously expensive. If someone does do a custom pair of eyes, it'll be like 30, 40 pounds, maybe $50, something like that. So you can get them. You can get them. Yeah, there's a fair point. That Negan sculpt doesn't photograph that well. Hopefully, we will get some more updates on those. I'm very excited for those two. I think Rick and Negan are imminently dropping, which will be exciting. I've got it on the docket. We're ready to go. We've got one more from Doomsday, and then we'll just have an overview of what they've seen, what we've seen, sorry, at ACGHK as well. Yes, that's Negan sculpt looks off. Looks like he's ill. Yeah, I've heard that. I think there's something to be said though with a lot of these figures, especially when they're at events and Comic Cons. Like, the lighting is usually fucking horrible, and that's not me defending InArt. That's me defending all of these companies. Like, the lighting is always quite harsh. It's something that all collectors and YouTubers and stuff say when they're there, that the lighting is a bit horrible. But hopefully he doesn't actually look anemic or ill when he comes out. So, last but not least, for the Doomsday stuff, Doctor Doom. Now, this one's interesting. And I think someone here in the chat, I can't remember who it was now. Yeah, Jack, it can be an issue, big time. I can't remember who it was, but someone said to me what the collector's pick actually was. It's the first time I've actually seen collector's pick. So if someone could tell me what it is again, that'd be fantastic. Paul, was it you that told me what collector's pick was? This is one of the coolest bases. One of the coolest bases. Not the coolest. I think the coolest base goes to Gambit, personally, because it's just so bloody colourful and it looks awesome. Negan sculpt looks like a streamer in a room with no air conditioning, like me. Yeah. Yeah, I love all these little effects, and they're really going to town with the accessories on these boys, and they look amazing. Like all this elemental stuff. One thing I was looking at earlier, I mean, he's very bug-eyed already on this one, very, very bug-eyed, which is a bit of a problem already, because if he's like this now, what's he going to be when it actually releases, right? But it looks good. I can definitely say, though, obviously we know it's RDJ anyway, but you can see RDJ's likeness shining through a little bit, even with just the eyes, right? But yeah, the eyes are huge. Like, the eyes are absolutely huge on this one, which makes me think they've used a bit of an older sculpt underneath this, which is interesting. Other than that, though, he does look really, really nice. I know someone said that the helmet wasn't that screen accurate, but obviously I've not seen anything from Doomsday yet, so I don't really know how accurate it is. Just trying to figure out this area here. Is this supposed to be like a chainmail? I don't know much about Doctor Doom, I must admit, but the armor looks incredible. And this base, I know this base, you can change the color on it. I saw it's in one of the last picks. Did someone tell me what the collector's pick was? So collector's pick is in the collector's pick is new. Yes. Is ultimate version also new? Ultimate version? I didn't know there was an ultimate version. Yeah, so Paul, thank you very much. A high-end, highly detailed 1/6 scale figure chosen by hobby enthusiasts as an exceptional even must-have piece for display, often standing out for its supreme movie accuracy. Limited release. That's interesting. That's interesting because this doesn't look any better than the other three. In fact, I mean, this looks incredible. Doctor Doom looks amazing, but I would say like the Ian McKellen Magneto is much better than this figure. But that's just one man's opinion. But he does look nice. Yeah, I'm going to get to this in a second. I'll get to that in a second. But I really like this base. This base is another really cool one. I think it comes with a flight pole as well, which will look cool. The metallic armor looks really nice. It's much better than the chrome Mando was back in the day. And this here, the mystery accessory, I don't know what you guys think, but I am 100% certain that it's going to be an RDJ head sculpt. It has to be. I can't think what else this could be. Unless it's an accessory, maybe you don't get a sculpt. I don't know if it would make sense to not get a sculpt with this. But that being said, it could be something that gives away a massive plot point of the film. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking as well, Jack. That's what I'm thinking, that it's going to be an RDJ head sculpt, which is fair. Again, you can get another ring with this one, but I add to the point. It just sit in the box for me, so it doesn't really make much sense to go with that one. But yeah, this looks incredible. Like all these Doomsday things are amazing. Yeah, well, this is the interesting thing though, because this one again is $390, if I remember correctly. That's in dollars. And all the other ones come with a head sculpt. So potentially this will have a head sculpt. I mean, he doesn't come with much else. He comes with the base, obviously looks great. Comes with the book, great. And that's inspired by concept art. So I don't even know if that's even going to be in the film. I think there's going to be a head sculpt. I'm pretty certain. Pretty certain that's going to be a head sculpt. That'd be cool. Yeah. That's the Doomsday line. That is the Doomsday line. Now we've got a few more. We have got a few more. So we've just had ACGHK happen, and there was a couple. I mean, there was a couple of SDCC that were shown, but the pictures for these are much nicer. Here we go. So we have got a few more that are up and coming. There is the throne. I think a few people have spoke about that throne already. I spoke about it last Sunday. It's $210. You can get it for Doom. It's not very exciting, so I skipped that one for tonight. But we've obviously got Gambit, Cyclops, Doctor Doom, Magneto, and we've got Professor X, Patrick Stewart, and we've got Beast. Now, Beast is an interesting one that we'll get to in a second. And we've got the Sentinel, which looks cool. And I think I can't remember who it was now. Someone said to me if we were looking at a Sentinel, because when I saw this, I was like, that's not big enough, unless, of course, the Sentinels in this new film are much smaller than they used to be historically. But I always remember the scene in X-Men 2 when Colossus throws Wolverine in the training room and Wolverine appears around the side of the head of the Sentinel, and the head's like maybe 4 times his size. So the Sentinels I thought were massive, but like traditional Sentinels, if they were standing in front of us, we would be the size of like a 1/12 scale figure effectively, right? So it's but I think they've just tried to do the best they can while preserving space. Like you can't have a full 1/6 Sentinel, I don't think. It's a necklace to go with a ring. Yeah, I mean, it could be that. It could be that. What's this? Is this Doom, I'm assuming? Oh, okay. So Hot Toys already confirmed it's an RDJ head sculpt. That's cool. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's what we're going to get into, Clinton. Yeah, a lot of people are saying the same thing. That's what a lot of people are saying. So, oh, we don't want that picture. Let me zoom out a little bit here. The book looks really nice. That's one thing I noticed earlier. It's got a nice lot of detail in there. I wonder if the pages are printed as well. That'd be really cool. Maybe Topo can make a proper size Sentinel. I don't know. That might be a little bit out of his wheelhouse, but I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't put it past someone to do that. Now, this throne looks really cool. it's a lot of display space. Like if you're doing a Doomsday line, I mean, unless you've got a huge amount of space, I would probably rather focus on the figures myself than a huge prop like this. And obviously, it looks amazing. You got a lot of detail in it, but by the time you've sat him on it, you're gonna miss all that detail anyway. So it's like a bit pointless in my eyes. But all of the Doomsday stuff looks really nice, even outside the promo shots. Again, I don't like that open mouth, half grimacing expression. Like I don't get it. But the annoying thing is, I'm seeing Channing Tatum here a bit more. It's still a little bit off, but yeah, something about that sculpt. I mean, the pose is always wonky, so that's not helping. I mean, I'm gonna have a drink while you guys just feast your eyes on that, because that is just 100%. It really is just 100%. It is incredible. Again, another one that is just absolutely bang on. Such a great sculpt. That's just, the people have been wanting a Professor X for a while. I'm not too sold on the tailoring for this one, I'll be honest, but overall it does look fantastic. I'm sure you could futz and mess around with it. It's always like this sort of material. I don't know what this sort of material is called, but it's always a bit puffy, you know. So it's a bit of a weird one. Now, this is the one that everyone's saying looks off, and I do agree. But then, yeah, the throne is pricey. 210 for just a hunk of plastic. I can't help but agree. It's a bit of a weird one. Yeah, Jack, I would completely agree. Now's the time to do it. Now's the time. But it's the Poundland Channing Tatum. Poundland, definitely a Brit saying Poundland. The Beast, I know there's been that meme going around of Sully from Monsters Inc. The problem is with this figure is that how on earth would you do it otherwise? So I'm going to put this up here because this is an alternative solution. The problem is that to root this figure would be incredibly expensive. And I mean, it'd have to be one of those rubber bodies, wouldn't it? That's sort of seamless. Then you root against that. But then the nature of the body of these things, it would be quite hard because we don't actually pose the head sculpts, right? We're not, when we've got the artisans and things like that, we don't mess around and fuck about with the hair too much. They're sort of just left alone on top, isn't it? Maybe you pose the eyes or whatever you need to do. But if you're posing the arms and the hands, and it just rooting, I don't think would work here. And I think rooting would also look a little bit weird. Now, the problem is that you can't really put the same sort of fur they've put on his torso on his head, because it would look weird. It'd look really strange. But then on the same breath, you can't root it either, because then that would look even stranger. I just don't think, to their credit, there's a way to win with this figure. I think either way you're going to lose, or it's going to be incredibly expensive. So I see what they've tried to do here. They've tried to cut the cost to make it obviously less expensive to people to buy it, but then it doesn't look great as a result of that. I think that's my biggest problem, is that it looks a little bit cheap. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that as well. But the issue is there's no real good way to do this due to the style of his hair. That is the problem. That is a problem. This figure is damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't think you're gonna win on this one. I don't think Hot Toys, no matter what they do, are gonna win here, unless they make it egregiously expensive. It just reminds me of a cheaper toy because it's got that fur and then the plastic head. I don't like it. I understand what you're saying, but this should be high end, so we collectors do the best. Yeah, no, I would agree with that, Jack. I completely agree with you. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one. That's definitely an uphill battle for them. Maybe they'll change something. Maybe it would have looked a little bit better if they'd done the rooting hair. Maybe it would have looked a little bit better, because even then it's still going to match. Yeah, it would match a little bit better with rooting, I think. Maybe that's something that they consider. But yeah, that's the problem though. Would you then just root the hair, or would you root the hair and the beard? Because it's technically not a beard, is it? It's technically, can he have a beard? Is that a thing? Because he's just fucking fairy, right? So he hasn't really got a beard. He's just everywhere. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, but I'm not too sold on it, I'll be honest. The Sentinel looks good, but I think it does look a little bit cheap. I'm wondering if it's going to be made out of the same material as that. What is it from the Fantastic Four? I can't remember his name. Galactus. Because that Galactus was just static, wasn't it? But this one looks like it poses. Oh, we've gone back. Oh, hello, there's just a man in a costume. This one actually poses, and it looks like, from what we can see here, it looks like it's got LEDs in it as well, which is cool. So this one, I know this hand lights up as well, because we saw that last time. So this is, they are really world building for us here, and this is going to look really nice on display with all the other figures that we've got coming. It's going to look really nice. What have we got here? The Beast is still a prototype, so it may change yet. I don't know if they're good, because it's not even been put up for pre-order yet, has it? So yeah, could change entirely. Galactus is a Sofubi vinyl. Is that the right word? I've never heard that word before, if that is the right word. Yeah, I do. I love all this stuff. One thing I will say, I'm not very tempted by any of that stuff. But Hot Toys, please, 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 please do an Alan Cummings Nightcrawler. Please. I would love that, especially if it's got a long microfiber leather trench coat. Like 12-year-old me would be very happy. Would be very happy. Flocked. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, the Sentinel, it does look like it. I can definitely see LEDs behind the hair, behind the eyes. Sorry, even. InArt can do rooted beard and hair. So yeah, I mean they could, but it'd just be more expensive, unfortunately. But this is the problem, right? So if you look at like Gandalf, people are willing to spend the money on that. Would people be willing to spend potentially $500 on a rooted beast? Probably not. That's the problem, right? You got to make sure that people will pay the money. If they won't pay the money, they're gonna have a lot of stuff on their hands that no one's buying, and that's a problem. So next up is another hot toy. I think this looks great. I think this one looks great. However, I do think it's a little bit of a money grab, I think, for me. And it is, of course, the, wait, let me get this right, the Pelagostos Chief Jack Sparrow. Not going to say that 3 times fast. Why is that first and second picture the same? Interesting. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't do an artisan for this one. At the same time, it makes sense, because this is a very, very niche look for Jack Sparrow. I don't think a lot of people are probably going to pick this one up. It does look nice. It does look very nice. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are going to be on this one. I don't think this is the base, is it? They did tease the throne about 4 times when it first was announced, and I think a lot of people were very upset that you couldn't actually get the throne, because that would be a really cool look. And it's sort of like a huge part of this scene as well, isn't it? So it sort of doesn't make sense that you don't get it or you can't get it. They probably could have sold it separately, and a lot of people would have gone in on it. The only thing for me with this one is that there's a lot going on up top. There's a lot going on up top. And it looks a bit cheap for me. I was never a fan of, is that hair in there? Yeah, so like the older, it's like DX38, DX37, I think it was. You've got the sculpted hair in places, and you've got the bit of mixed media, so you've got a bit of rooted hair technically in there. But all of this just looks a little bit cheap for me. Yeah, no, they do Johnny Depp really well on the likeness of stuff. Yeah, I think this is the thing, New Distraction. This is one of those ones that I think it makes sense to wait around to see if it drops in price. I don't see the necessity to run out and grab this one. It's nice. It's obviously reusing a lot of parts. That's probably why they've made it from the older Jack Sparrows as well. But I think unless you're an all-out Pirates of the Caribbean fan or a huge Johnny Depp or Jack Sparrow fan, I don't really see the use of picking this one up. Yeah, well, this is it, right? They made a new sculpt for Johnny Depp or Jack Sparrow, whichever way you want to look at it, and they had to milk it. Yeah, of course they do, and I understand, right? It's a business at the end of the day. I mean, like, this is cool. I like this. I know a lot of people said they would have liked to have seen a sculpt with his eyes closed. I think for me, probably 3 sculpts or 2 more sculpts that I could have thought of was the eyes closed or the like the screaming when he's running on the beach away from the tribe, right? Those would have been the 2 that I would have gone for. The base is nice. Like, the base is a lot going on there. But I really would have liked to have seen the throne. I would have liked to have seen the throne. The throne would have been much more exciting for me than just this. But they've put in more detail here. I don't know if this was present. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure this wasn't present on the Artisan Jack Sparrow. It looks like they've also started to paint the leather on the hand as well, which they didn't do for the Artisan again. So they are improving in ways. Obviously with their microfiber leather as well. We're looking up at the moment, aren't we? This, again, like, this is a lovely figure. Even if you don't want to display it with the headpiece, it's very, very nice. This is my point exactly. This looks cheap and lazy, if you ask me. Fair enough. We want high quality stuff. Yeah, I think that's fair. That's fair. Looks good, but I feel the majority would be happy with the traditional version. Yeah, I think a lot of people would probably like something from the Black Pearl, right? I think that's the most thing. One thing I would like to see with Jack Sparrow, like, I appreciate the details that they've put in here. It does look really nice. However, I would like to see seamless. I've said it 1,000 times, and because of the sleeves and everything, it would be really easy to plug and unplug seamless forearms. So that would be really cool to see that. I know that means they've got to, you know, do all this stuff, but they've got to do it on multiple hands anyway. So it makes no much of a difference to them. Yeah. I love when bloggers use props and stuff that aren't actually included because it gets you all excited. This looks great. He's used a bit of driftwood in this. Zord obviously always takes incredible pictures. This looks really, really nice. Really, really nice. Where's his overproof Caribbean Iron Rum? Yeah. This should have been a ChinaJoy, a Wonderfest exclusive. I think this is an exclusive, isn't it? I can't remember. Does it come with a severed redhead Atlantean head? No, it doesn't. It doesn't come with that, funnily enough. These pictures are really nice. Like, I understand the appeal of this one. It's not one that I would personally pick up, but it is very, very nice. It's very nice. Yeah, standard. Yeah, that makes sense. I think Hot Toys could have done a side character in one of these movies, like Will Turner or a villain instead of another Jack. Yeah, I know a lot of people have said that. Let's find out what he comes with. Like, this is the thing, right? This is an iconic scene for me, and the sculpt just doesn't work for it. I would have loved to have seen a screaming sculpt. That being said, this sculpt is very nice, but we've obviously seen the sculpt before with the old Jack Sparrow. Oh, we're not going to see that picture, are we? Because it's the blogger pics. Yeah, that's the Jack Sparrow is a bit. It's a little bit boring, isn't it? There's not really much for that one, unfortunately. But let's move on. What have we got next? So this is a topic that's come up a lot recently. Is what happened to InArt at SDCC? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I pretty much saw nothing of InArt at SDCC. Now we know there are a few bits that they did. A lot of it 112. So we'll briefly skim through that stuff, and we'll look at some of the InArt heavy hitters that we've got as well. But let's look at, where are we? We go share. So InArt at the moment, I feel like they're in a bit of a weird space. We have got some more stuff later from InArt, which does look incredible. And I quickly just browse briefly through these. All these 112 things that they're bringing out look really good. Obviously, we're getting onto the 1/6 here already. This T800 endoskeleton, I literally cannot wait. I'm so excited for that endoskeleton. I cannot tell you. The Walking Dead line, fantastic. I know Rick and Negan are probably releasing soonish, but Daryl is not until next year, which is a shame. I feel like these sculpts have undergone some revisions. They do look a little bit sharper and a little bit more like Arnie than they did when they first released. So I'm looking forward to that. And that does look like full grain leather right there. Doesn't look like that microfiber rubbish, right? So this is going to be a good release. And obviously Rick looking very nice there. I cannot wait to see him. And I think this is the point someone was making about Negan, right? That Negan looked a bit ill. And I agree, but Rick does as well. Daryl looks good. Daryl looks really nice, but that sculpt has always been a bit of an outlier. One thing I did notice, I couldn't help but notice, look at that. Oh, it's not even painted or anything. It's just there. It's just there and ugly and horrible and disgusting. So that's interesting. I hope that's not how it actually turns out, because that would be yucky. And this is a pretty iconic pose for Negan, right? So a lot of people are going to want to do that. So we need to, we need to do something about this. It's a bit of a weird one. But a lot of people were saying the Negan didn't look that great. I must admit, I do like the sculpt, but I'm not a huge fan of the look. That's not the look. The expression. Like, if you've watched The Walking Dead and you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you know, Negan is one of those characters that's constantly knocking around with a shit-eating grin on his face. And I don't know if that captured that smarminess. I would have liked a bit more smarmy of a look than just this. But InArt are really killing it. They really are. With their 112, I think there's a point of focus for them as well at the moment. And I think a lot of people are very unhappy that they're not going whole hog on the 1/6 for the video game stuff, because they seem to be doing it in 112, but not in 1/6. And we have got some more pictures, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I've got so much stuff knocking around here, guys. Give me a second. Yes, here we go. So some more SDC pictures of the Walking Dead stuff. I mean, that is Norman Reedus. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I do think. So let me just grab a drink. I do think this, and I hate to say it, this will be figure of the year. This Norman Reedus, Daryl Dixon, 100%. Because Hot Toys have obviously done the Death Stranding figures. Is it Sam? I think his name is. And they look great, but this Norman Reedus sculpt is just, it's just chef kiss. It really is. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That because Daryl's not coming out until next year, but I would imagine they're probably. Why would you tweak this? To be fair, like, why would you even go anywhere near this? You'd look at that and go, right, fucking leave that alone. Leave it alone. That is it. Send it. Production time, boys and girls. Let's go. Yeah, those are. That is the sculpt of the year. I'm telling you now. We've got the Endo. Now, this Endo is coming out by the end of this year, which is an incredibly quick turnaround time. And I did hear, I didn't know this when I first pre-ordered, that InArt had really outsourced a lot of the work on this one, which I found quite interesting. It's not necessarily a detriment to them. I think it's good if they're turning stuff around and they can work with partners that are producing high quality items like they are, then I'm all for it. That'd be fantastic. See, the Rick, I'm not a fan of this tailoring. I must admit, maybe it's just the way that it's posed. You know, they've not really made an effort with the collar or anything. And another thing is, a lot of people wanted, is it the murder jacket version of Rick? Topo, if you're listening to this, you know what to do. I think a lot of us would probably swap that out, right? I definitely would. This is what I mean about the Arnie sculpt. Still no light up, which is a bit of a shame. However, the sculpt does look incredible. This sculpt looks incredible. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's that one's going to be one to look for. I'm so looking forward to this, and it's a double pack as well, which is insane. It's going to be really nice. Sadly, InArt seemed to favour ChinaJoy over SDCC to showcase what they have to offer. They really need to link up with someone more PR savvy. Yeah, dude, I must admit, and we're going to talk about ChinaJoy later, which is a tad more exciting than SDCC, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, whichever way you look at it. I still do think that Negan's really nice. Again, I will maintain that I would have preferred him to have a bit more of a shit-eating grin on his face. It would have, you know what I mean? He's a very smarmy character, isn't he? Like, he's very sarcastic. And yeah, always grinning. And this one's just, it looks cool. It's just a little bit too stoic, in my opinion, this one. But it's still a very nice sculpt. So that's everything from SDCC for InArt. It was a very bland week for InArt SDCC. I was really expecting more from them. I really was. I was so excited for SDCC. Luckily, Hot Toys brought the heat for that week. Even the quarter scale Joker looks really nice. I have no interest in quarter scale. Been there, done that. It's not a scale that I enjoy. So I'm out on quarter scale. But that quarter scale Joker does look really, really nice, I must admit. I don't think the sculpt is quite there. It's got a little bit of heat in it. Yeah, I'm not entirely sold. I'm not entirely sold on it, I must admit. Do you think InArt need a unique quality license line to impress? Wait. Let me try that again. Do you think InArt need a unique quality license line to impress rather than the alternatives? I'm not quite sure I understand that question, I'll be honest with you. Do you think InArt need a unique quality license line to impress rather than alternatives? I don't understand that question. If I'm being thick, I do apologize, but I don't understand that. InArt should put more effort in SDCC. Yeah, they should have done. They really should have done. Unfortunately, they just didn't. They just didn't. I don't know why. I wouldn't like to say. Oh, I've missed something off the docket, you silly, silly boy. Let me get it here. Booyah. So, up next, I wanted to touch on one of the figures that we've seen recently that I did rag on a little bit for being lazy. Now, a lot of people have said the same. I think it is fair to say it's quite a lazy release. But it's the Spider-Man from Brand New Day. Now, I like that. I like that the web shooters are magnetic now. So that's cool. So you can swap out the looks because obviously there's no spoilers, but that's been in a lot of trailers. Now, apart from being what I think is an incredibly lazy release, I still do think this is probably one of the nicest Spider-Man figures we've seen in a while. Although I will say, this whole thing really irks me. It really does irk me. I find it painful to look at. That just the disparity between the plastic gloves and the fabric suit hurts my eyes. It really does. Oh, that's cool. Oh, hello. That's really cool. I didn't know that. So Hot Toys have done everything. Let's see InArt do some amazing figures we haven't seen before. Yeah, that'd be nice. I think a lot of the time, these companies sort of copy each other. You know, they see what's relevant, what's popular, what's selling, and they just do the same thing. Yeah, I would agree, Clinton, that their hands do need to be fabric like that. I know it'd be a pain in the arse for them, but it'd be nice if they could figure out a way to do it, wouldn't it? That being all that said, I don't want to spend too long on this because I think we've seen the heck out of this. And the reason I say it's lazy and is there's no sculpt, which makes me believe that there's going to be a time when they release another of these from Brand New Day. I've said there's going to be a few people here that have probably seen Brand New Day. I've not seen it, so obviously don't spoil it for anyone else in the chat. I'm not bothered by spoilers, but a lot of people are. There may be another suit coming down the line at some point. Maybe they'll release another one. They have said that they can't include a Tom Holland head sculpt. I don't know why. I've not been keeping my ear to the ground on that sort of thing. Maybe I should have. But how many people actually display these things with Tom Holland's head sculpt on it? I mean, there's probably going to be a fair few of you, but I think a lot of people just want to display Spider-Man, right? Which makes a bit more sense. But I think this is one of the nicest Spider-Man we've seen in a while. It's very, very nice. Even the seam on the forehead isn't too egregious, and it usually is quite nasty. See, look, it's visible, but barely visible. And I really do like they've included the nose, and I think a bit of the ears as well. I really like attention to detail like that. It's it's interesting. Probably no more Tom Holland head sculpts. That is interesting. So you can see brand new day, slightly revamped. It does look nicer. The seam on the neck. It's probably, I mean, that one down the bottom. The lines don't line up a lot of it. And this one's a bit better. Not too much though. Yeah, it's definitely improved, isn't it? Definitely improved. But the final swing version, was a money grab from day one. It was basically the same as the thing from No Way Home. I'm pretty sure the final swing suit, and they just re-released it effectively. But the one from Brand New Day, this actual official Brand New Day version, is very, very nice. Yeah, it's very, very small accessories there. I think it looks great. I think it looks great. So for people that are interested in getting a new Spider-Man from Brand New Day, that one is probably for you. But I'm not a massive fan of Spider-Man figures. Hold him. It's not in his contracts. That's probably. But okay, that's interesting. I don't know any of this stuff. Didn't InArt do Wukong, Harry Potter before anybody? Lord of the Rings, Bruce Lee upcoming, Doom figures to answer the other guy's question. InArt was doing figures now. Oh, okay, right. Okay, maybe I was being stupid then. I apologise. I'm displaying Tom Holland Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal head sculpt for Tom Holland is quite nice actually, because he is next to Andrew to differentiate the versions. Oh, that's completely fair. That's completely fair. It's not a bad way to display them either. Very nice. That's like a really cool display actually. Now, this is an interesting one. So we did have another company, SDCC, one that we're not. Well, I'm not a huge fan of anyway. And I love these pictures. It is, in fact, and let's pop this up on the screen. Let's pop this up on the screen. Do Factory Entertainment have a future in 1/6? I think this is a very prominent question. Like these were the display that they had at SDCC. And at some point, they just weren't even fucking lit up. They just weren't lit up. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like we've got some old IKEA lights in here to illuminate this shit. So this is the Alan Grant. Obviously, the actor passed away. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but this is not a way to immortalize him, is it? These just don't look good, and I've seen people say these looking amazing. Even other content creators saying that these look great, and from a company that has effectively everyone starts somewhere. Yeah, it's true. Unfortunately, this company, right, has tried to fool and trick people into buying their product. Obviously, we've seen the new Michael Knight. This is like a collaboration with Jazz Inc. because Jazz Inc. are doing the is it Kit, the vehicle? So they've Factory and Sony got the license. I think they're sharing the license to collaborate and do this together. I mean, personally, if I was Jazz Inc., I'd rather not make the vehicle if I had to collaborate with these guys, but each to their own. And obviously, this was the figure that started the whole thing for Factory Entertainment. Like the whole saga started with this one. They announced it. It looked awful. And then a couple of days later, they released new pictures that were clearly been enhanced with Photoshop or AI. And you could actually see evidence that they'd overlaid Brendan Fraser's face on the pictures, and then trying to sell these pictures as the prototype. And I know a lot of people caught onto that pretty early on, and it was just a really shady, shitty thing to do. So for me, yeah, I don't know about that company, but there's a lot on their website. There is a lot on their website up for pre-order right now. And let's go through all of these. So we've got the Rick O'Connell. And the problem is here is not the figure. I mean, it's like 2015 called, oh, sorry, Hot Toys 2015 called, they want their figure back. They just don't look good. And the problem is over on the right-hand side here, we're asking Hot Toys prices for not even, so I won't even offend So-So Toys or Mars Toys and say that this is their quality. I would say this is below even that. But these just don't look good. What Jack says, I'd like to be optimistic and say, yes, they have a chance. So hopefully they can get better over time. I hope they do. I really hope they do. But I just don't see it. Like the whole shadiness of coming over into the 1/6 space. Even now, look, this isn't the sculpt that we've just looked at in the real imagery. Like this just isn't that sculpt. So it's just shady. It's just shady. I just really don't like it. And the sculpt looks different in some pictures. I think they said they've upgraded this to rolling eyes now, and that's something, I suppose. It just like that face, that looks like a real person. And then look, that looks like a real person. That looks like a pile of shit. It just, yeah, don't worry, dude. I'm with you on it. 2015 is being generous. Exactly. Well, this is the thing, right? And you can lie. And sorry, let me go back to this one first. Now they lied and claimed their figure wasn't AI. The guy on the stream forgot his name, even doubled down claiming no AI. They lost goodwill. Yeah, and this is the thing, Adam, right? There's going to be a lot of goodwill lost when you try and fool people into what is a particularly picky market. And the head sculpt is sort of the bread and butter. That's the main event, right? Is the head sculpt a lot of times. So to try and fool people into believing that this is much better than it actually is just shoddy. Like this looks like Brendan Fraser. That looks like a screen grab of his face. This looks like shit. So the fact that, and like that, that looks like Brendan Fraser. That does not. Like I just, the pictures are so inconsistent as well. Factory Entertainment's on my shit list. The quality and price do not match. Exactly that. And I think Brendan Fraser figure is one of their better ones. Like this Quint, $350. And it looks like a pile of shit. Like the sculpt isn't horrific, but it's not a $350 sculpt. This is not a $350 figure. Like the hands look shiny and plastic and awful. I know a lot of people saying they do have a future. But yeah, I sort of agree with you on this one. Short-sighted scammers, right? Because you're only going to, I'm sure there's going to be people out there, right, that this standard of figure is okay for them. They don't mind. Maybe they're not as, but then for $349, you would have thought that person would have had, to a degree, an eye for quality if they're spending $350 on a figure. I just don't see that these products have legs. I really don't. I don't see that these have legs. I just don't see these selling very well. And we'll go through the rest. They get worse. They seriously get worse. What's this one? 500. I think it's because it comes with a signature though. So yeah, it's probably 350 again. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. It's just terrible. It really is terrible. There's no two ways about it. The proportions, look at the proportions of this. Look, big old, yeah. It's just this is not the one. Yeah, cheap toys, 100%. I wanted this Rick O'Connell, but just decided to wait for the final product to make my purchases. And yeah, I don't think you're going to have any issues grabbing one of these after the pre-order time is up. Insane prices of figures that are less than average. Yeah, and there's even more that's worrying. These ones don't look too bad, but again, this is the issue now, because once you try and trick people with the AI shit or the photoshopping of the sculpt, I now don't trust you at all. Oh, hello, for anything. So it's difficult for me to look at this and go, well, actually, maybe they're improving, because I don't know if they fucked around with these pictures. Like, maybe. It's hard to tell. I mean, the lighting on that does look a little bit enhanced. So yeah, again, it's planted that seed of doubt. And I think the problem is when you plant that seed of doubt from the get-go as a company, you've pretty much made a rod for your own back at that point, right? And you're on a lot of people's shit list. That is the thing, right? Yeah, even with the signature, right? 500. Jaws deserves better than this. I couldn't agree more. Classic film. £24 max. The Michael Knight they showed to go with kit did not look great. This is the thing, Lane. This is the thing, right? They're showing these incredible prototypes, or prototypes that look incredible compared to what they're actually pumping out. But I completely agree with you. The Michael Knight at SDCC looked like shit. You know, Jazz Inc. are the creme de la creme of 1/6 vehicles. I think it's just a shame they've had to partner with these tosspots to get that license. Their reputation is tarnished now in relation to their 1/6 offering. So they want to continue on. They should pull back work on. They should pull back work on 1 or 2 figures, get them top notch, and come out again with a lower price. I completely agree. Or the quality needs to match the price that they're asking for their damn figures, which it doesn't currently. So what's the point? Yeah, exactly, dude. Fool me once, never. Make it £15 max instead. That's me being generous. Yeah, they do look a little bit tat, don't they? So this is the thing. So that last one looked all right. And now again, this one looks pretty bloody shoddy. So yeah, it just, there's so much inconsistency. And that paint, maybe they are that good, but that paint around the 5 o'clock shadow area, that looks too good. It looks too good for this company. They've got a Dr. No as well, which is interesting. He looks a little bit better. I mean, they haven't put many. Oh, this is by Big Chief Studios. Ignore me. And I've got this one up twice for some reason. So we don't need that. So we can get rid of those. But for me, I'm going to have to say no. I just don't think. I know Factory Entertainment do more stuff. I think they do like one. What am I saying? Product types. They do 1-to-1 scale replicas and things like that as well, don't they? I think that's more their wheelhouse. Maybe they should stick to that, because the 1/6 stuff, yeah, it ain't the one. You're going to need a bigger boat, I think, is probably fair to say. What have we got here? So we've got Hot Toys, J&D, InArt, my company's up. Yeah, Jack, I couldn't agree more. They're my free favorite as well. Don't worry, they will get better at it. Better at what? I really want to. Yeah, this is the thing, Hermit, is that people really want Battlestar Galactica stuff and Jaws stuff, and the fans of the franchises that they are tackling have been eating very poorly when it comes to 1/6 offerings. So they're just, for my eye, they're just trying to tackle markets where they know that people are a little bit desperate for stuff. I feel like that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to force people's hand because they know they're fucked for representations. Otherwise, it stinks. It's smelly. It's very smelly. The Michael Knight looks better than some of their other figures. I mean, it's not a high bar, but I would agree. Likeness is there. It's just too soft. I think a lot of their stuff is very soft, to be fair. I have the Jazz Inc. kit, David Hasselhoff signature or pre-order. Very nice, very nice. And the vehicle, I'm assuming, as well. It's going to be really cool. I found it concerning that the CEO of Factory Entertainment had no clue that rolling eyes was a thing for 1/6. Yeah, it's almost like, do your market research before trying to enter a fucking market. I just don't understand this company. I just don't get it. Paul, we will be talking about that, my friend. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm very, very enthusiastic about Kaustic Plastik. Very enthusiastic. One that I didn't think I'd be enthusiastic about even, is this little one. Now, this is from a series, a cartoon that I've never, ever seen. I made a video about Hono a few weeks back because it's dead, isn't it? I think we can say with absolute certainty it's dead. Unfortunately, I deleted my graphic for that video where I went through all the figures, and I'm pretty certain, if I'm not mistaken, that this is now the last figure that had to be released by the Hono Studios. This is the last figure. The rest have been released. They teased the Thor, never actually officially announced him. So this is it. This is now, Hono is dead from this point onwards, because this is their last release. And then that's that. There's been no announcements since this one. There's been no announcements since the last set of Hono figures they released with the 2 Stormtroopers and the Vader. There's been no announcements for Hono since. And this was the last one that we were waiting for to release. And it's a shame. It really is a shame. I think, like I said in my video, I didn't really know, and that was the biggest problem with the Hono line. I didn't really know what it was. And I think a lot of people struggle with the same problem, right? Because it looked like it was like some comic-inspired line, and it looked fucking amazing. And it was coming at a price point that was palatable for maybe newcomers into the hobby. But it just didn't grow wings, unfortunately, for some reason. I think the problem is that the prices did steadily increase, and it started to tread on the CMS line's toes, and that's the problem. And then they realized that if they're doing comic characters, they can just release them in the CMS line, and 9 out of 10 people will spend the extra pennies and they will get the hot toy over the Hono Studios, which is a shame, because I think a lot of the stuff that they did release, like that Vader, is really nice. This Spider-Man is really nice. Everything looks really cool. The Wolverines that they did are great. I can't remember, they did the Iron Man. I'm not too much of a fan of that seamless Iron Man. It looks a bit rubbery for my liking, but this looks fantastic. Like I said, I don't know anything about this iteration of Spider-Man, but just speaking from a quality standpoint, the Hono line was great. Like, I think this is one's like £160 from Toys Assemble for me. Obviously not one that I'm interested in at all. But yeah, it's really nice. It's interesting. Oh, Hono has been in the dark for so long. Radio silence completely. I don't know. I think it was Hot Toys, wasn't it? It was like a subsidiary of Hot Toys. So I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure it was Hot Toys themselves. It wasn't a separate company. But maybe that is the case. I don't know. I've not really done that much research on whether they were a separate entity. It's a shame, because it felt like, we'll just pause this when we get here. Like, this is a really nice offering. I feel like if they'd carried on with this, again, the problem is the price. That is the ultimate problem, isn't it? That these things started to steadily creep up, but then I think there still would have been an audience for them. Maybe something. Oh, so Hot Toys did partner with Hono. Okay, that's interesting, Jack. You've got a lot of knowledge, Jack. Thank you for helping. I've not seen the cartoon. What is the cartoon even called? You see, a lot of people are confused as to who Hono actually is. I think that's another problem, right? Like, we know so little about Hono that some people are saying it was a separate company they teamed up with. Some people are saying it was Hot Toys themselves. I don't even know which way is up. Yeah, it's yeah, I guess we'll never know now, because the line is just fucking dead. It's dead as a dodo. It's gone. I thought it was great while it lasted. It was it's a shame that it's died. It's a shame that it's died. But again, you can pick this one up pretty cheap if you're a fan of the show. I don't think it's gonna be very popular. It seems to be, although it looks lovely, I think it's gonna be one of those that ends up in the bargain bin. Yeah. Oh, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Okay, I probably should have guessed that, really, shouldn't I? But there we go. Yeah, I think this is a really nice offering, but I just don't think a lot of people are going to pick this one up. I think you'll probably see this in stock in a few years' time. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, is it? We've got Paul. Listen up, buddy. We've got a lot of Kaustic Plastik to talk about. It is ramping up. It is ramping up with Kaustic Plastik. Let me get rid of some of these images and all of these. So far, Kaustic Plastik, the Maestro line, I think I've encapsulated everything. I haven't included the war paint version of Conan, and that's the only one I didn't include, because I wanted to include this little ugly fucker, because I found him interesting. But Kaustic Plastik, SDCC, Will did a load of video of their booth as well, so that's worth going and checking out if you haven't already. This, I've said it 1,000 times, this really feels like the biggest thing to happen to ones. I know Kaustic Plastik been around for a long time. This feels like this evolution to the Maestro line feels the same as when InArt burst onto the scene. for me. It's incredibly exciting because what we're seeing from Kaustic Plastik, and a lot of these are, well, these are all prototypes, of course. All prototypes at the moment, but we've seen them on display and they do look incredible. And obviously, the Maestro line is one that I find incredibly exciting, but at the same time, I treat it with the same level of I can't think of the word. Can't think of the word. I'm not suspicious of the Maestro line. I'm just wary of it because it looks incredible. But Kaustic Plastik have proven themselves over the years with their standard line of figures, and they're exceptional, some of them. But this is a step, especially the David Bowie sculpt, or Bowie, however you guys say it, and the Brandon Lee sculpt. Like, all of these sculpts are like a step above what they've been doing all this time. I think that's fair to say. It's not to say that their old work is bad. It's to say that this work they're doing now is exceptional. Like, is exceptional. Dude, you're a braver man than me. You're a braver man than me. I love a bit of horror, but that thing in the top right, that's fucking creepy. There's no way I'd have that in my house. Hell no. Hell no. Oh yeah, I didn't even think to include that. Sorry, Paul. I don't think I did do the booth tour on the last live. I think you can probably look at that, or go and check out Will's video. There's a lot of footage of that. But the mummy is impressive. Yeah, these are very impressive pictures, and I'm so excited for what they're doing with this Maestro line. It's going to be incredible. It really is. We've obviously got. I'm not sure what I've done here. We've obviously got some other stuff that's coming up. We've got the Aussie. We've got the Captain Spaulding, which I'm not sure is Maestro line. I think it's just a standard line. But again, that's another exciting one. We've got the Snake, Pliskin. I can't remember. This is an older graphic. I apologize. Obviously, we've got the Exorcist stuff that we already saw just then. But the most exciting thing about Kaustic Plastik is that they're tackling stuff that no one ever will, likely, right? Like, who the hell else is going to do Ozzy Osbourne? You know, maybe InArt. But I think even then, is Ozzy Osbourne as iconic as MJ? It depends who you ask. But I don't think InArt would have tackled Ozzy. I really don't think they would have done. David Bowie looks like he's walked outside his London Brixton home. Kaustic Plastik Dracula and Phantom of the Opera figures are awesome. I have both. Very nice. Yeah, there's some of them are really nice. When Kaustic do a diorama, they do a diorama. Like, they're mental. Yeah, dude, 100%. There's no way on this earth I'm having that thing in my house. No, there's no. Absolutely bloody not. Absolutely not. But I've got some more images here for the Kaustic Plastik stuff. Where are you? I don't. I have a few things, and this is not stuff that they're doing currently. But this is stuff, and I wanted to open this discussion because Kaustic Plastik are doing licenses that no one else does. I feel like when Hot Toys were around, before InArt, everything was pretty safe that Hot Toys did, right? License-wise and figure-wise. InArt came along, and they started doing things that were a little bit niche. I wouldn't say Lord of the Rings was niche, but you understand. But compared to Hot Toys, a little bit more niche in the license front. And you've got Kaustic Plastik that are doing a niche upon a niche, which a lot of the time we wouldn't consider these IPs and licenses niche in our minds. But like, I've had this conversation with other people, like Resident Evil. A lot of people are crying out for figures from that. But the audience for Resident Evil 1/6 figures, you got to see like they're fans of the films, and you got fans of the games, and then you got this little substrate of people down the bottom here that would spend the big bucks on a Leon figure, right? So you become a niche within a niche within a niche. So that's why they struggle, I think, to get anything out of Hot Toys or InArt for that video game. I think video game stuff is a little bit They tread lightly with those sort of things as well. But sorry, I'm choking to death. One moment. But I think Caustic are going to go hard on these licenses that no one else will touch, and it was getting me thinking as to what they could tackle next and what I would like them to tackle. There's a few things that I would like, and if there's anything you guys would like Caustic Plastik to tackle, stick it in the comments, because I'd love to see what you guys think as well. So this is what I was thinking for a step. Let me quickly look at these comments. I'm interested in the that war paint Conan does look really nice. I need to see the price. I might get the sculpted for a cheaper alternative. That's respectful. Yeah. It's I haven't seen the price for any of those yet, I don't think. But they're not going to be cheap. I do know that. I'd love for them to do a Freddy. Well, you're in the right place. Yeah, a lot of people want Halo figures, but a lot of people just won't touch it. Yeah, I agree. We'll get to that. So Freddy. Now I know some of you are saying Sideshow have done a Freddy. Okay, I get it, but it's shit compared to what we have now. Right, it's not very good. So we do need an absolute banger of a Freddy figure. We really do. And that's one that I think potentially in the future InArt could tackle. I think InArt would do a really nice Freddy Krueger. I'd hope they'd also do potentially a posable glove with, die cast claws. That would be very, very cool. But we will hold with bated breath before we wait for InArt to do that. But these are characters that, again, we don't think of this because they're incredibly popular, but as far as 1/6 scale figures are concerned, I think they are quite niche. They don't sell very well. Like we all say, Pennywise, sorry, is incredibly popular, and then they produce him and he doesn't sell that well. That's the problem. I would get Freddy and Hannibal. Yeah. Some of them are. Some of them are good. I mean, the Beetlejuice they released recently is pretty good, but the Pennywise, the older Pennywise style they did. I don't remember that actor's name now. Apologies, gone out of my head completely. Michael Myers would be another cool one. I'd love to see them do Dark Crystal, Neverending Story, and Legend. Yep. Art the Clown. Yeah, I don't know. There's a question. That's definitely Art the Clown there. That's probably why we're all messed up in the head, dude. It wouldn't surprise me. Tim Curry, thank you, Dream Visions. Caustic Plastik should be a Lon Chaney Junior Wolfman. Yeah, that's another one that I've seen. What was the other one? Someone just said Werewolf in London. Yes, that's the one. A lot of people say that one as well. Freddy Krueger would be an amazing one. Art the Clown. Now that is one that I would really like. I really like Art the Clown, but that is incredibly niche. So I know I'm asking a lot of Caustic Plastik when I say that one. Now, I wouldn't have said I would have pinned Caustic Plastik to do really realistic face sculpts because they've done monsters historically, right? But I think there's more of an art, and there's not more of an art. That's probably not the right terminology. There's an art to doing realistic skin tones and rooting and things like that. But from what we've seen from their Crow and their Bowie sculpts, the Goblin King so far, and obviously the Conan, they're really good at it. They're really good in the prototypes anyway. Hopefully the finals are just as good, but they're killing it right now. So I think they'd do that really well. I think this look would be really cool, and a lot of people would go for it. There's also the Jason as well. I would love a Jason. I would love, even if it's not accurate to the film, I would love a Freddy versus Jason display. I would love that. That would look incredible. And that'd be a really nice one. But the good thing with Caustic Plastik, obviously they've lent more into the monsters and horror stuff in the past, but that isn't where they're stopping now because they've just announced that they're going to be doing an Ozzy Osbourne. And I love a bit of Ozzy Osbourne, so I would be tempted by that. But it got me thinking, what other bands could they do? What other artists could they do? And that's interesting because we've obviously seen in the past, Hot Toys have done Michael Jackson. InArt are currently doing Michael Jackson. But then I would say again, Ozzy Osbourne is a much more niche of a taste than those other two, right? I think there's people who've done Elvis. I'm trying to think. Kurt Cobain, I know, has been made by another company, but these big boy 1/6 companies have only ever really touched Michael Jackson, which sounded weird when now I said it out loud. But you understood what I mean. They've only touched the Michael Jackson license. I'm not sure I'm making it any better for myself. I need a bigger shovel. So here we go. We've got Hellraiser. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Hellraiser Pinhead. Yeah, that's one. Leatherface. Yeah, no, I didn't click on that. Leatherface. There's a lot of here. The Running Man. Yeah, see, all of these are great ideas. Art is kind of mainstream. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that. I did prefer it. I can't remember the. Would you get Metallica? I'd be tempted. The interesting thing though is like, what Metallica would they make? Would they make Cliff Burton Metallica? Would they make Jason Newsted Metallica? Rob Trujillo Metallica? Who knows? It would probably be the latest one. It'd probably be Rob Trujillo if I was betting. I mean, Dream of Visions, if that's one you want, dude, you let us know. You let us know. Guns N' Roses, yeah, that'd be another great one. See, I think Will wants the 1/6 Taylor Swift, if I remember correctly. Bjork, yeah, another incredibly popular. I can't see anyone buying Justin. Dude, you'd be surprised. I think a lot of people would. But yeah, I was thinking stuff like Slipknot, Kiss. Kiss would be low-hanging fruit for Caustic Plastik. Guys in makeup, they'd crush it. Queen. The problem is with a lot of these, I think especially Slipknot. I think the other three maybe a bit, but Slipknot, that would be a display and a half. That would be really cool to do that one. But I think a lot of the time we need to understand that if you look at these and say, well, this would be Maestro line. All three here would be Maestro line. There'd be a lot here that would be Maestro line as well. And you're looking at $400 euros around that price per figure. So how many people are there? And this is what I talk about when I say a niche upon a niche. How many Metallica fans are there? Lots. How many Metallica fans are there that are going to spend $1,800 or pounds or euros, whatever it is, on 4 figures to represent the band? And obviously they're going to be more than that because they're all going to need to come with guitars, a drum kit, a bass, and the licenses for the guitars like Ibanez's and stuff like that they used in the past. It's going to get expensive really bloody quick, right? So it's it's a difficult one, but this stuff would be cool. It'd be very cool. Iron Maiden Eddie, yeah, that would be really cool. And there's a lot of variations. Yeah, it's very true. They could just do that. Kiko wants Ariana Grande. It's interesting, but there's something for everyone, right? And maybe they would do that. And then that got me thinking, what artists could they do? Well, who could be next, right? Because we've got MJ, we've now got Ozzy Osbourne on the way. So maybe Caustic Plastik wouldn't necessarily go down the band route because that would be very expensive for everyone involved. And I mean, you could sell them as a 4-pack, but that's going to be egregiously expensive. So a few that I thought about was like Elton John. That would be good. Imagine the amount of Elton Johns you could release. That man is partial to a costume. So that would make a lot of sense. I'm surprised, honestly, that no one's ever done a Prince, to my knowledge anyway. Not one of the first-party license guys. That would be a really cool one to see, especially with the guitar. I can't remember what that guitar's called, like the fancy thing. If you like the swirl at the end of the stock, that would be nice. Jimi Hendrix, I'm pretty certain I've seen Jimi Hendrix made somewhere, but that's not one that I would personally buy. But I know there's a lot of Jimi Hendrix fans out there. And I know there's a few that have done an Elvis, but not in a licensed capacity to my knowledge. But I'm not a massive Elvis follower, so I wouldn't know either way. But I think it's very exciting. That's what I'm getting at. With the Caustic Plastik stuff, they seem to be going really deep on things that are quite niche. So it makes me excited. I never thought we'd see The Exorcist from Caustic Plastik this year. That just wasn't on my bingo card. So they're coming along, and it's exciting. It's like I said before, Player 3 has entered the game. Bob Marley, great one. Yeah, 100%. Nickelback, not sure. I don't mind Nickelback, but I know there's a whole thing where it's cool to hate them. Chunk from the Goonies, yeah. Bob Marley, yeah. A lot of people saying The Omen, yeah, that's true. The original Addams Family, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be very cool. That would be very, very cool. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what is going to be going on with these guys. So now we're getting towards the end of our docket, and we're going for 2 hours. I've been waffling for 2 hours. I've got 60 people. Thank you so much for staying with me and just listening to me waffle. I appreciate all of you greatly. So InArt ChinaJoy, we can finally talk about some InArt because we've not been doing a lot of that recently, and it's been a shame because we've not been eating that well with InArt at the moment. I'm waiting for my Superman. They've not released the Walking Dead stuff yet, and quite frankly, I'm getting a little bit antsy. I need an InArt fix, and I need to do another on the floor unboxing because I really, really enjoyed doing them with you guys. Because I used to fucking hate recording my unboxings, but ever since I've started streaming it to you guys, you lovely people, and we just sit there, and everyone's just happy. We're just all fucking bouncing off each other, and everyone's happy that we're just enjoying it. And it's completely destroyed that hatred of filming my unboxings now, just doing those with you guys. So thank you for that. But let's look at some InArt because we love InArt over here, right? And some of the stuff that InArt coming out with is very exciting. We've got Chicken Wise, and I'm very excited about that. We'll get to that. But yeah, Jack, I'm with you, dude. We need more InArt. We need a Michonne next. So ChinaJoy. We've got some exciting bits. Well, they've shown Wukong again, which I find weird, but let's I got a little video here from these guys, High Tech China Toys Premium Collectibles. Go and give them a follow because I always rely on them to give me some high quality video and pictures of this stuff, and they're a really good page. So please go and give them a follow if you can. We've got Daryl again. Shane, yeah, Shane would be really cool. He's like, did he die season 3? And I love here as well. We're getting some real close up with these sculpts. The detail on that scar and just that beard looks real. It doesn't even look sculpted. Like it's just I mean, Norman Reedus' hair as Daryl is always quite a little bit greasy looking and like a bit tatty. So it's probably quite easy to root that, right? Yeah, this looks phenomenal. The governor, I mean, I fucking hated that guy, but yeah, I'm Walking Dead. I'm all in. I love the Walking Dead. This looks like I know a lot of people have said he looks a little bit. The base is taller than the other two. I get that. It does piss me off a little bit that the eyes are a bit wonky here. But that being said, the sculpt does look better, and this is the same figure they've been traveling with the entire time, so he doesn't look anemic or ill in this picture, which is nice. So it means the Negan is actually going to be a banger, and I've got that one on pre-order along with the Rick, so that's going to be great. We've got the Terminator again, the battle damage Terminator. Now this one, I can't wait. It's a very dark picture, but InArt figures, it sounds like an insult. It's really not. InArt figures really thrive in this like moody lighting. It really suits the detail of the figures that they produce. Again, these two shoulder to shoulder on the display are just going to look absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I was thinking that. I remember having more of a smirk. Now this one that I couldn't be less interested in looks incredible. This Bruce Lee, I love this. Let's get a zoom in on that sculpt, please, Mr. Video. Now, someone said they don't see Bruce Lee in this sculpt. I think this is Bruce Lee to a T. This looks absolutely amazing. It's just phenomenal, and it's one of those where it's like I'm not an incredible fan of Bruce Lee or that sort of genre of film. Obviously, I'm a fan of his son in The Crow, but this is still tempting because it just looks it just looks fucking amazing. Just looks amazing. Looks incredible. Do you think they would include arms and feet with a new bloody Pennywise? Will they use that as excuse to double dip? Yeah, that's interesting. We're going to get into the Pennywise in the second round, but yeah, I did notice that, and I did do something. Yeah, a bit silly that I probably shouldn't have done, but I did anyway. I know you're not a huge fan of army building, but what if they did walkers? I think there's certain walkers, not that I can think of ones off the top of my head, but there's the bicycle lady, like in episode 1? Yeah, episode 1 of The Walking Dead. It's when Rick finds the bicycle, and there's the one just like half a torso crawling along, the bicycle walker. And there are certain walkers in the franchise that are like the big-eyed walker as well. But I think if they did, it's difficult, isn't it? Because if I'm saying if they did like a cheapish multi-pack, then how can you make a cheapish multi-pack of figures that would have to be seamless and all fucking gory and ripped open and shit? It's difficult, isn't it? But I would buy walkers. I wouldn't army build the bloody things, but I would have like, if I had all the characters, I'd have like maybe 3 to 5 walkers knocking about here, there. That'd be cool. In my opinion, I would prefer the Governor to Negan. That's fair, as a figure and a character. That's fair. But they're both great villains. I much preferred Negan. I'm a big Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan, to be fair. That's probably why I preferred him. Bruce Lee is the GOAT, yeah, or is a GOAT? Is he the GOAT or a GOAT? Like one of those. You didn't specify. But yeah, that Bruce Lee, it just looks phenomenal. It really does. It looks like a small human, which is what I love about InArt figures. They really do. Now, this one could sway me. I wasn't a huge fan of the Lobo representation in Supergirl, but this figure just looks phenomenal. I'm hoping this whole deal here is die-cast. I'd be very disappointed if it wasn't. But just look at the arms and the and everything here. And this sculpt here, this is what Hot Toys wanted to achieve. This is what they wanted to achieve. Their sculpt comes across a bit clunky in its delivery because it just doesn't look very good. It looks too happy. Whereas InArt here, I mean, the hair looks incredible regardless. They've rooted the goatee, which looks phenomenal. But InArt have captured much better than Hot Toys that maniacal look, because that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like you're smiling, but you're just fucking unhinged. That's the idea of the sculpt. And Hot Toys didn't do quite as good of a job as InArt have done here. InArt have done a really nice job with this sculpt. And that is tempting me to grab this one when it does go out for pre-order, just because it's so good. We've got my favorite. We've got the Chicken Wise, the big cluck cluck chicken. We've got some more pictures of this one, don't worry. But the sculpt, I believe, is the same sculpt that they've used for the other Pennywise anyway. So we know what we're getting with this one. But it's a very nice sculpt. And there he is in all of his chicken glory. I don't know if he's supposed to be a chicken or an eagle or some shit, but it looks like a chicken to me. Maybe a chicken demon. It's hard to tell which one he is. Is it a chicken or a demon? But we've got some more pictures. We have got some more pictures. Let me get these here. Share the screen. Where are you, chicken? Cluck, cluck. Now, this sculpt is basically the same thing we've seen. All of this is the same thing we've seen, really. The tailoring, everything is the same. They've just literally bathed him in blood. I'd love to see the process. They must just dunk him. Surely they must just dunk him. Otherwise, it'd be a bit of pain in the arse. Now, this thing... looking handsome, David. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate you. This thing is just a masterpiece. The base looks amazing. It looks incredible. And look at that wingspan. It's coming home for a start. Okay, it's coming home for a start. And it just looks phenomenal. It really does look phenomenal. I think you're not going to really get away with not having these little extra stands. I would personally, if you don't want those stands, I'm probably going to have this in a modular case. You're going to need to, because it's going to take up a lot of bloody room. What I would likely do is I would use the pole. I would take away the base. I'm not, as much as I love that base, I don't want any bases in my display. I would likely 3D print a new base for that and hide it under the felt of the module case. So it was free floating. If you looked like it was free floating anyway. The pole placement seems a little bit weird. Like, where's that going? But overall, this looks phenomenal. It really does, doesn't it? It's like nothing I've ever seen before. He's a cheagle. Yeah, I like chicken. Hey Keith, how you doing, mate? I predict that InArt doesn't bother moving forward with Lobo since the movie was a flop. Plus, since Hot Toys is doing it for cheaper, there probably isn't enough demand for it. That would be, I tell you what, Keith, that's not a bad shout. And it would be interesting because I think that would be potentially the first time that InArt have shown a prototype and not gone through with it. Obviously, I know they've showed the Game of Thrones stuff, but they're still in the works. Like John's already confirmed that they're actually going ahead with it. It's just taking a little bit of time. Yeah, Enter the Dragon, another classic look. Yeah, that would be, yeah. But you might get it still. They've got the likeness, you know, they've got the, the sculpt. They watch this space. That's all I will say. It looks like the wings and chicken legs are removable, so maybe InArt will include the parts to make it a normal bloody version as well. That would be cool. I'm just trying to see where you would swap that shit out ultimately, but it looks like they're showing all the accessories here. I guess time will tell, right? One thing I did do, I must admit, it's probably quite silly of me. I did see this, and then obviously if I go to the next picture, we've got the Deadlight sculpt, which is fantastic because this sculpt looks phenomenal. However, it doesn't light up, which is a bit of a shame. But what I did do when I saw this, I went back to 16Kit's website and I pre-ordered another clean Pennywise to use this sculpt on. I'm assuming it'll fit because they usually do between InArt figures. But worst case scenario, if that doesn't pull through, I can just cancel that pre-order and get another bloody one if I need to. But my idea is I've got my two Pennywise up here. They serve very nicely from the It film. And I'll have two of the clean. One that I will display with the bloody mouth and the bloody... I can't think of the thing around his neck, what that's called. I will display those two. And then I will display the other one clean with the Deadlight sculpt on it. Because that'll look pretty cool as well. Yeah, looks like he's been dipped in ketchup. Yeah, well, basically has. But we've got the Man of Steel now. Now, the Man of Steel, I'm not sure how much I like this one. I'll be honest. It looks nice, but there's something a little bit uncanny valley about it. Like the jaw and the cheekbones and everything look phenomenal. That part of the sculpt. For me, it's something in the eyes, like the eyes and above. There's something a bit weird going on there. I know it's like the under eyes, like the eyelids, like there's just something not quite sitting right with me on this one. Here it looks much better. One thing I will say, I was tempted. I remember saying it when this was first teased, that I would likely, yeah, I do see Henry Cavill 100%. I do see Henry Cavill. I would likely skip this one and keep my Batman versus Superman. Yeah, I think a lot of people will say the same, Jack. I will likely keep my BVS one instead of going for this one. I think overall, I just prefer the look of the BVS. This sculpt, I don't understand. InArt sometimes do some really weird sculpts. Like they did the closed eye for the new David Cronenberg Superman, which is a lovely sculpt. But I think a smiling sculpt would have made much more sense. But they went with that one, which is fine. It's a lovely sculpt. The suit looks good, but we know InArt do these very, very well. They did the BVS very well as well. Yeah, I mean, here it looks fantastic. It looks really, really nice. So this is definitely one to watch out for. One thing I do like is that they've included this little bust. When I get to it, I think we've seen enough of this guy. Shout out to Joseph, whoever Joseph is, for this picture. But you've got like this little bust here, and it's nice. And I guess if you're really, yeah, the second sculpt needs to go. The likeness falls off. I agree. I do agree that likeness is not the best for that second sculpt. But I do like this. I would never use it. I'm not. When I do my displays, I try and make them as clean as possible. And I really don't like it. Sort of kills, not the immersion, that's probably the wrong word, but it sort of kills the realism for me having either a head there, because I know some people put like the head on a pole so you can see that as well, but it sort of kills it for me because it's just like I don't like accessories sprinkled everywhere. Yeah, it's just not for me, unfortunately. Another thing that's not for me is InArt. Your fucking neck seams are atrocious. Please fix them. Please fix them. You know, the BVS Batman neck seam was not that bad. That's pretty janky. The Lobo looks fantastic. He really does. And I know we've already said they might not go ahead with this, but I think if they do, I probably would grab this because this does look really nice. It'll look really nice with Superman, Supergirl, and Lobo and Crypto. Obviously, we've got the Terminator stuff. We've sort of seen these in the video, so I'll scroll past these ones. We've seen this one in the video as well. The quality of this picture isn't great. I've not had much joy getting the nice pictures from ChinaJoy. Yeah, and I think, Sam, to the point, now they've released another Superman. That one might actually drop in price a little bit, so you might get a decent deal on it. But yeah, I'll the Man of Steel is still tempting, but I think Lobo, I'll probably get that one. Who with Superman, you mean? Yeah, he was looking a little bit light there, wasn't he? He's probably come with some hands, but like the BVS Superman, he came with a spear. He came with a few bits, to be fair, but yeah, you never get too much with a Superman, but you don't need that much with a Superman. Another exciting thing, let me make sure this is actually the next thing I was talking about. Yes, the other exciting thing that we've seen is, where are you? There you are. The Supergirl. Now, I'm very excited for this Supergirl. Very, very excited. Did I make a graphic for this? I'm pretty sure I did. Did I? I did not. I thought I did. Oh, and okay, that's fine. Microfiber, whatever. Let me quickly pull up InArt's original pictures for this, because I feel like it's important that we do the comparison when this actually fucking loads, because they've still got these pictures up, which I find interesting, because yeah, I mean, the first comment I saw when I opened this was, who's that? So let me quickly pull this one up, just so we can see the difference here, because there is a big difference, a huge difference, in fact. So this is the original sculpt that they showed us. Obviously that's not going to help us there, but there, like, I think we can all agree with the first comment that was on this was, who the fuck is that? Because that is not MiA Alcock, however you say it. That is not her in any way, shape or form, just not at all. It's a complete miss of a sculpt, and I know I've said that Draco Malfoy sculpt is a bit of a miss for me, but that one was a huge miss. This is 1000% updated. There's no way you will convince me otherwise. It looks, yeah, much better than it did. The updated head sculpt is amazing. Now she doesn't look stoned. There is that as well. She doesn't look stoned. More importantly, she looks like MiA Alcock. I don't know how to say it. Sorry. One thing is, I will say the proportions don't still look quite right. A bit breasty for MiA Alcock. But yeah, I know they're using a different body right now, and we'll get to that again. And Akira, I couldn't agree more, my friend. It does look great. I know we've said the roots aren't quite as separated as they were. So I know her hair, she had quite strong, short roots, but I think we need to be realistic on what these companies can achieve with that. Because if they went round actually just doing that, it would take a long time. So I think they've made adjustments. They've made the roots darker. I think this is looking very, very nice. A lot of upgrades here, especially in the sculpt. I'm basing my purchase on whether the film succeeds or fails. Many films on their theatrical run were flops that Many films on their theatrical runs were flops that went on to become cult classics. Yeah. Do you mean I am not basing my purchases on whether a film succeeds or fails? That sort of contradicts what you said. I think I understand what you mean. But yeah, this one, incredible. The likeness is fixed as far as I'm concerned. I think that looks like MiA Alcock all day, every day. It really does. The only problem, and there is a problem, there is a but, There is a but here. Now, this is purely speculation on my part. But I did see this picture, and shout out to this guy. It's Hexapus ACG. He does some nice pictures as well. He's in them as well, which is nice. He looks like a nice chap. I did see, obviously, we've got Superman. We've got this new chainsaw thing that no one cares about. I can't wait for my Superman to come in. I think he's going to be shipped next week. But I did. So the Supergirl would have been up here somewhere, but I've edited this picture. And like every good YouTuber now, I ran this image through ChatGPT. And for context, Jason Momoa is 6'4". Millie Alcock is 5'5". Now, in this picture, obviously, it's not perfect because I can't physically go and move the figure right next to it. So I've done the best I can getting her next to him. And he's actually a bit further back. So he would actually appear shorter because he's further back. However, looking at this, this reads as if Millie Alcock would be 5'10" or 5'11". Like, she doesn't look that much shorter than him. Like 5'5" to me would probably be somewhere around here, right? Like, she's just much too tall. And I think that's been a common complaint since we've seen this figure release. So I would hope that they will fix this. Yeah, I would hope they fix this before the release, because that would be disappointing, because everything else so far looks incredible. I just think they need to go back to the drawing board when it comes to the body. The body is not correct. It's too tall, it's too chesty, and it needs some refinement. It needs some refinement. When the movie dropped on digital, she went viral on social media having big boobs during a flight scene. Oh, did she? I wasn't aware of that, but I wasn't paying attention to that, to be fair. Yes, David, not basing. Just woke up from my pre-work nap. Pre-work nap, very nice. Not pre-ready, I guess. No, it's not at all. Not at all. Adam, there's a picture of Supergirl and Superman together. The heights look accurate, but I don't know. Yeah, that's fair. I've not seen those two together. I just saw this. I know Jason Momoa is a stacked guy. He's a big fucker. But yeah, just these two together, I was like, this is reading like 5'10", like 5'9" to 5'11", easily all day. Yeah, it just, I mean, it's not going to be that egregious, right? You're not going to look at them on display and go, oh my God, she's way too tall, but it would be nice if it was a bit more accurate. Two chesties in No Man Ever. Okay, sorry for being that guy, right? But yeah, I mean, either way, they look fantastic, but I want them to be as screen accurate as possible. I think getting the height of the character right is like 101, right? I don't think we should allow them to just use generic bodies and get away with it, right? It should they should try a bit harder. So this is a question that I'm going to push out to you guys before I order it. I answer it even. What is the best artisan figure ever? That's what I want to know. What do you guys think? Because I have an answer to it, and it's not going to be an answer that you expect. It's certainly not character based. I mean, it's a pretty popular character, but it's not a character, a version of a character that you'd expect. So, guys, tell me what you think is the best artisan figure to date while I take another drink. Because I would love to know. I would love to know. There's been a lot of really great artisans. I think for me, the biggest problem with the artisan line is that they just don't live up to the hype. Like, we see them, and I'm hoping for a lot of people that Bucky turns out great. But a lot of them just fall short, and they look great. The sculpts are usually fantastic. That's one thing I will say. The sculpts are usually fantastic, but it's the hairlines, dude. It's the hairline. They just don't look great. I mean, I can't really speak to hairlines, but they don't look great. So we're getting a few. We've got Black Widow. Yeah, that's right. I always thought she had like noodle hair. Like, I found that a bit weird, but the Heath Joker, well, the purple coat one. Yeah, so it's a good one. I think for me, my experience was just tainted by the copy that I had. It had a fucking horrible hairline on this side, like this area here, just like was a straight line. There was no like merge between the sculpted and the rooted. It was just awful. It was really, really bad. And that's how I see a lot of them come out. But I know a lot of people would say Heath Ledger, and that's sort of where I was going with this. But it's not one that anyone would expect. It's the Imposter. That 4 actually, that 4 looks really, really nice. It does look really nice. I saw that the SDCC stuff. But these are the blogger pictures, by the way. And this is the best artisan that Hot Toys have produced. It was also their first artisan, which is ironic, really, because I think this was announced after the purple suit, and it had a different sculpt. And this hairline is true to life. I'm just talking purely on quality here. This artisan hair is the best that they've done to date. There's just an absolutely Why is this not moving? What are you doing? Let me try it that way. There's just an absolutely seamless application to the hair on this figure. And when I had it in hand, it was exactly the same. Oh, it's interesting, Akira. I actually use the Imposter sculpt for my purple coat. So there is some merit to what I'm saying here. And Akira, have you noticed that? I mean, did you buy the DX32 instead of the 33AE? And then whack this sculpt on there? That would make sense. But this is a really special figure. I think this is the problem. Like Hot Toys bought this one out, and you can see there again, like the routing is impeccable on this figure. And every copy I've seen, I always zoom in on Facebook groups when I see this figure posed and posted, and the hairline is always incredible. It really is incredible. And this sculpt is really nice as well. Really nice sculpt. I would be tempted to pick this one back up at some point, but like that's a really cool pose as well. I love that. But yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you guys think, because I think this is the best routing job Hot Toys have done to date. It's just a shame that they didn't keep it up. It really is a shame they didn't keep this up. It's that's just phenomenal. It really is phenomenal. It's because you didn't buy the DX33 at the time, so use the topo body and coat. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm getting starting to regret my sale of this one, honestly. This looks really, really nice. Yeah, it's just an interesting thought that the best artisan they've made outside of the Beetlejuice that isn't actually an artisan is one of the least popular. Yeah, I sort of think the same. And that was one of my first thoughts. But at the same time, actually, no, you're not wrong. The Jack Sparrow has a bandana, right? So you can't actually see the routing as such. But the top of the head at the back after the bandana is really impressive. Like the dreadlocks are really impressive. So yeah, I would half agree on that one. But I just thought that was really interesting, that one of the most perfect sculpts that they've done for the artisan line is on one of the least popular figures when it comes to the artisan line, right? It's interesting. It's interesting, but it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things. But yeah, that's it. I thought that was quite interesting. So we'll open it up. Why is that not going away? Go away, please. Oh my goodness. So let me quickly show this one. So you can, if you would like and subscribe, that would be very kind of you. If you're not already subscribed, I would very much appreciate it. You can also get 10% off with 1/6 kit using the code SHILL. The code has changed, so please make sure you use the code SHILL and not SHILLS. That's to get you $10 off any order if you haven't used it already. If you've already used it, don't try and use it again. It's not going to work. And we're going to quickly open it up for a Q&A. So if anyone's got any burning questions for me, please fire ahead. So what's coming up? What is coming up? That's a great question. So obviously we're going to be doing more live streams. I'm considering potentially doing maybe a midweek live stream some weeks, maybe every other week. Not so much like this chill stream, just something else that I'm cooking up. One thing I need to do, I've got hello, Why are you coming out? Trying to escape. I've got this John Wick that I need to unbox. I'm going to try and do a bit of a more premium video on that unboxing. I've also got a Scarecrow that I didn't actually unbox. I might do that. I've got Superman on the way. I believe he's with the Forwarder now. So he should hopefully be with me in the next couple of weeks. And the Superman, as you know, is an InArt figure. So we will likely be doing an unboxing for that one. I'd say it's probably a certainty that it'll be me sitting on the floor like a kid opening that one up. But he doesn't come with much. But I tell you what, I am excited for. I'm really excited for crypto. Like that's something I'm really excited for. So excited for crypto. Where is my Mr. Freeze? He was AWOL. Dude, I don't know. I want to see that Mr. Freeze. Like they've, in all fairness though, they have really smashed the Arnie sculpts as of late, Hot Toys. So I think you're going to be all right. I think that they're just cooking. They're cooking. Don't worry about it. I got the Beetlejuice in last week. Thought it was missing the nail file. It's a great piece. Oh, it was missing the nail file. That's a shit. Can you not contact? Is it Sideshow? Did you not get it through Sideshow? What figure from Doomsday that could drop would make you buy Doomsday figures aside from Nightcrawler? Ooh. Aside from Nightcrawler, because Nightcrawler, I fucking love Nightcrawler. That scene, X-Men 2, that is the not only one of the best introductions to a superhero film ever, it's one of the best character introductions in the film ever also. Nightcrawler is a standout for me. I would really like that one. I'm trying to think. Who else? I see Magneto's already been done, so I can't really say Magneto. Be someone to go with Nightcrawler. Mystique, you know, the original Mystique, that would be cool. That would be cool, the original Mystique. She'd go really nicely in Nightcrawler as well. Yeah, maybe a Mystique. That'd be a nice, cool one. Not a question, but I hope you're having a better week than I've had. I've had a pretty shit week this week. I won't lie to you. And there's been a lot going on. Been very stressful week. I'm not going to go into too many details. Very stressful. It's never nice when you're being spoken about in very nasty lights, and it doesn't really matter what you do. Like there was, you know, some of you guys are obviously privy to what happened. I did make a live stream, and I did say I would take it down. It's gone now because I don't want to keep feeding that flame. I think it's, you know, it doesn't matter which way you swing it. It's always going to be quite hurtful. And we see a lot in life generally now. One of the most famous cases being Johnny Depp, of course, where someone says something happened a certain way, and a lot of people remove their support for you, only hearing one side of the story, and they're not even interested in your side. They just go, right? So that's quite hurtful. And to those people, bon voyage. Don't come back. Like, that's fine. I don't need those sort of people in my life. But yeah, hopefully next week will be better and less stressful. Uncarded reviews. I thank you so much. I very much appreciate your kind words. If there was one thing you could have in your hand right now that's on PO, what would it be? Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead InArt. Thank you for playing the game, Akira. That was easy. We need a Namor figure. Yeah, that would be a cool one. Just a minute, David. It's Mr. Fantastic with the new jacket. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm not a massive fan of the Fantastic Four. Between us, I think the Fantastic Four is a little bit. I've never been a fan. I like the originals, like the films, the live action when I was a kid, but I'm not a massive fan. I'm not going to speak on content creators as such. It changed my perception of a lot of things. I think more than anything, I was just disappointed more than anything, because I didn't go around saying horrible things about anyone. I sort of stayed silent. I was told that I was lying, and I'd stay silent up until I made the stream of which I was told I was lying on. So it just wasn't very nice. It wasn't very nice, but I don't want to pretend it didn't happen. But I'm not the type of person go, well, you did this. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's a shame. It's a shame because some people I would have considered friends have just completely withdrawn support for me even as a person. And it's like, well, you didn't even attempt to hear my side of the story. So it's just a shame. It is just a shame. But that's how it happens sometimes, right? It's just one of those things. Shitty situation, but your fans still showed up. That's very kind of you, Adam. And because I enjoy your content and value your opinion. I thank you, Adam. That's very kind of you, my friend. Again, very kind of you. New distraction. It's very kind. I hope to see you on more stream. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. You know, it's too soon to say what the future looks like for the 6-scale shield. Hopefully, I would love that. It was pointed out to me that someone did me a favor and got me on there, but you know, it happened. I'm very happy that it happened. I'll always look back on that fondly because I love Will. I love his stream. I love Dean. Obviously, Dean the Dream. Always love Dean the Dream. But yeah, that would be lovely. But maybe one day in the future. I think for now, I'm just gonna focus on this, building it again, and just doing my thing. I think that's what I like doing. And ultimately, I just like chatting to you guys. And, you know, we had like up to 70 people here tonight. So the fact that you guys are still here, the fact that you're still supporting me, still having a chat with me on a Saturday night, that's great. Because what I don't like, and this is the reason I've got the Discord, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I do the Discord, I do the Shield Sphere, the group on Facebook. If any of you aren't in that, there is a Facebook group called the Shield Sphere. I can add the widget on the screen now if you can scan it on your phone. Because a lot of people say that this is quite a lonely hobby, and it's one of those things. Like in the Facebook group, is great, but even then, you're still like ships in the night, right? You're still commenting on posts and then going your separate ways. Whereas the Discord, which I'm not opening up just yet. If you guys are desperate to get into the Discord, you can sling me a message and I can ping you an invite. But I had a lot of people trying to join for nefarious reasons, unfortunately. So I'm not going to open that back up just yet. Yes, if any of you are feeling lonely, I mean, I felt very, very lonely this week. Yeah, it's. I'm just glad you guys are around. Oh, I understand what you mean. Yeah, the video. I mean, that one was deleted because YouTube basically told us to get fucked. So I don't really see the point of leaving it up. Hey, Bailey, how you doing? Well, mate. Akira, I'm on holiday, so it's been great winding down watching your stream this evening. Thank you, Akira. That's very kind of you. I look forward to your stream. I hope it continues. Yep, it's as long as there's people here watching and needing some good chat on a Saturday night, then I'll always be around. I will always be around. Guys, that's it. If you've got no more questions for me, I'm going to head to bed. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. And actually, I wanted to just thank again. Some of you aren't here, but if you're watching this on the replay, let me turn this banner off. If you're watching this on the replay, everyone that reached out to me this week with support, I very much appreciate you. There were like 5 or 6 people that messaged me. It was even more than that, I think, asking if they could, you know, fill a slot on the stream, just so to speak. So 7 to 10 people, something like that. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But I thank you guys as well for your interest in coming on the stream. I really, it baffles my mind that people are that interested in coming on and speaking to me. But I'm going to leave it solo for now, and then maybe open it up to a co-host here and there in the future. But off the back of what's happened at the moment, I'm just going to roll solo, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I will feature with other people in the future. Maybe someone will come on here. Who knows? Who knows? But what we do know is we're still here. We're still talking about figures. We're still going to have a good time. No one can take that away from us. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. Take care of yourself. I will see you all next Saturday without fail. Hopefully I'll see you for some other reason. I'll maybe make a video for the John Wick. But lots to look forward to. Again, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. It's really going to help me out. I lost quite a few. That would be great. Oh, another thing before I do go, if any of you had memberships and they are paused because I've turned off monetization because I was accused of being all about the money. So if you guys could go in and turn those memberships off, if you had one, please do. So that doesn't ever, I don't know, it would never go back live without me turning it back on, but just turn it off anyway, get rid of it. Anyway, great place to chat and chill. Let's keep it up. Thank you so much, Ungraded. Is it ungraded? It is. Uncarded. Sorry, uncarded. Yes. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It means the world to me. Take it easy, and I will see you next Saturday. Thanks, everyone. Lots of love. Thank you for watching another installment of the Shield Stream. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all again next week. Until then, keep it shield.